Hurry up, Brady! Ah! Let's go!
This guy's silky.
Welcome back in to Chicago Hockey Radio.
Up now. Up now.
I am Tassos Kirkos. Alongside me, Lee Grossman, Justin Lynch, Raven Gasser, producing today and every day. Live on YouTube, listenable and downloadable wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rating and review. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. All at Chicago Hockey Radio. Super easy to find.
It's a beautiful day out.
It is a horrendous day here in Chicago. And
it is over here, too. It's even worse over here, man. Just the thundering, the storming. It's pouring out there. It's like a bucket of water. Hopefully you won't hear it during this show, but I hope they'll be able to stay with me here and the stream quality won't be too bad. Yeah.
I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning, and the rain was just so loud. It was so nice. I fell back asleep like a baby.
That's always nice. Nice background noise, right?
It's the best. But it's not the best when you're like trying to go out and do stuff like hand out bags at the United Center and stuff like that.
It just doesn't really get you going to like when you wake up and it's still dark outside, it's just clouds. It's like that doesn't really get you going, right? That doesn't really feel like an up day, right?
Yeah, it looks like 6:30 p.m. out here right now.
Feels like we're doing a night show right now. Like last semester, we did a few late shows. This is what that feels like right now.
Should we add a weather report segment to CHR? I stand in front of a green screen and like from here.
We the weatherman.
Share the
I
weather.
like that.
Bro, we have Kirk the weatherman.
That's true.
That's right.
We do have a resident CHR weatherman.
Yeah, what's the forecast here? Is it going to look brighter during the NHL hour?
It should, because we will have Andy Francess stopping by the program at around 12:30. Lee's favorite YouTuber,
My goat,
will be coming by talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs and betting in the Stanley Cup playoffs as well. I think we'll probably dip into that conversation a little bit. It's game day for the Chicago Blackhawks. It's also game day for Lee Grossman. We've pulled the audible and decided to live stream the game tonight. Right? That's what we're doing? Yeah. We're going to live stream the game tonight.
8:52 puck drop.
Yeah, it's just
criminal.
In Chicago?
It's unbelievable.
What is
it's
that?
It's because it's the TNT game.
Yeah. That's just crazy though, man.
Yeah, we're getting screwed on that for sure. But yeah, Tassos and I didn't want to be outside in the United Center at like midnight, cold and wet, trying to hand out bags and be like, "Hey, listen to our show." People are going to tell us to fuck right off. So, Audible streaming the game tonight. Come join. It's going to be fun. Hopefully,
we're also going to stream next Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes, for sure.
The second half of the home and away versus the Penguins, and then I forgot who they take out on Thursday, but we will be streaming that game. So, come join the party. That should be a lot of fun. But it is game day for the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, not Blackhawks related, but I think now we're close enough where we have to start the show with it.
Obi?
Alexander Ovechkin is 4 goals away from the record.
I already know all chats could be like, why would you want to stream that game? But yeah, Alex Ovechkin with another goal last night. I think he plays again today against the Hurricanes, right? And suddenly we have to talk about this, boys. If he scores at least 1 tonight and is within 3, I say he has a shot to do it Friday against the Blackhawks, because it would not shock me the slightest if he dropped a hat trick to get to that goals record. He did it when he got to 800 against the Blackhawks a couple of years ago. So if he's within 3, especially like 2, it's definitely within the realm of possibility there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Evan in chat said Lee is Ashton Hall, who's the guy who does the fucking sparkling water on the face. I'm gonna make one of those for Blackhawks fans. Yeah, well, not. I don't think he was putting that on his face, but yeah, I am the Ashton Hall of this podcast, and I'm gonna make one of those videos over the next couple days, and it's gonna be really funny. Hopefully.
Yeah, Lee's been killing it with the real game over there. We put out that clip yesterday and got absolutely roasted for his puck knowledge there. We want to get into that,
dude. People were it was perfect. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, go drop a hate comment on there. It's doing numbers. The one on Instagram almost has 10K views, and the one on TikTok has like 6K. Yeah, people were getting very upset over some of the selections, understandably so. Like, you can tell by my reaction at the end, I was pissed. Like, the line that I had to put 10th was Eichel, Barkov, and Matthew Tkachuk. That's like my favorite line in the entire national.
That was line you put together.
Yeah, like that would be my number one. I had to put them at 10. So, but yeah, people were upset. People are upset that I put the McKinnon line over the McDavid line. I'm standing on that. I like the McKinnon line more. It was Hagel. Who was it? It was Hagel, McKinnon, and Lucas Raymond. And the McDavid line was Konechny, Gensel, and McDavid. I'm sorry. I like the
pretty
McKinnon
close.
line.
Like that's a toss up. It could go either way.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny. Justin, you're gonna have to make one of those. But
oh yes, I will. I definitely will get on that train. We'll see if I'm able to surpass yours there. Yeah.
But the algorithm is literally just encouraging me to go full heel and just be the most hateable person in the hockey community.
Just be a shit poster.
Like if those are the views I'm gonna get from like pissing people off, that's all I'm gonna do.
That's Lee's role here. He's the bizanet.
Yeah, I'll be the heel. I don't care.
Yeah, I like that. All right,
I can take the heat. Some of the comments were pissing me off though a little bit. I replied to probably like 5 of them from my personal, and I was like, what am I doing? This one person said it was good because it was reaching non-CHR enjoyers, which was like awesome. Like that's kind of what we need to do. Because I like said at the start when I got Bedard's line that I wanted to put that line first. And someone was like, I should have known when he said he wants to put Bedsy at 1. This was going to be
I'm pretty
bad.
sure you were just joking there. Yeah. It's like to the Blackhawks fans, which obviously if you don't watch us, then you wouldn't get that. Yeah. No, fair enough. And hindsight's always 20/20. Like with those blind ranking games, it's like
dude.
obviously you rate them differently if you had them all at your, if you knew them all ahead of time. But it's like you're playing a guessing game. As much to do with luck as it does with skill.
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone's being hindsight Harold on those, but I love it. I need to. That was like the second time I filmed that one because I had eaten something spicy before I filmed it the first time, and so I was like doing this a lot with my mouth, so I'm like, I have to do this again. So I was kind of familiar, like I knew a couple of the lines I was gonna get, but I like forgot most of them and like placement and everything. But yeah, you gotta just do it first try, and then the worse it is, the better, because people fucking are like, oh, you put this guy ahead of this guy. How could you do that on a blind rankings where you don't know what you're getting next? I
guess it's my turn now. Yeah, I'll record mine pretty soon, and we'll compare and contrast. And then Tassos has to get in the action.
I'm not doing those.
Dude. That'll be me and Lee.
Yeah, you guys can have a ton of fun with those, and we will post all of them. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot in the vault, so we're gonna keep cranking those out.
Right.
There you go.
Besides all the games you two are playing, the Blackhawks do indeed play one this evening against the Colorado Avalanche. Like we said, we will be streaming the game. It is an 8:52 puck drop in Chicago. Thoughts, fellas, going into this one? I just, big tough opponent coming to town, Stanley Cup contender. We're trying to take away bright spots. That's one of the themes of today's show.
Of course.
Is we are trying to take away bright spots.
There always
the
are
rest of the
some.
Way. You have Oliver Moore centering a third line with
Reichel and Slide. I love the lineup.
I do like that. That's good.
I love the lineup.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is Korchinski drawing out. It's like if we're going to call this guy back up here for the rest of the season just to sit him. That I don't love, but the rest of it's good. Knight starting too. So, but yeah, that third line is going to be the X factor tonight. I like Moore at center. I mean, that's kind of where he should be. That's what he is. And then Reichel actually playing with another speedy guy like himself. So I think that could be a fun line to watch tonight. Like that was kind of the main problem I had with the Sunday game. Is like, okay, we draw Oliver Moore in and we're playing him with Nick Foligno and Joe Veleno. Like, what's he supposed to do, right? So I like that we got another speedy youngster to play with him. So that should be a fun line to watch for sure.
Yeah, I like that he made that line, but I am tempering my expectations for it a little bit because I could just see them being hemmed in their own zone by the fucking McKinnon line for 10 minutes tonight.
It's all about matchups, right? Like all about matchups. And Swagger too. Like that's a good piece there. I know he hasn't been finishing it all, but like he's another kind of deceptively quick guy and more physical, can kind of win those battles, get on the puck. So yeah, I like the potential of that line. Definitely the kid line. Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I like the defense pairings too. I know obviously we'd like to see Korchinski in, but I don't think you're going to take Kaiser out right now because I feel like Kaiser's been playing really well. I think, the guy you'd probably take out there is EDM. But I like Rinzel and Vlasic together. I think that's going to be really exciting and fun to watch. And hopefully they can play well together. It's going to be interesting to see because obviously we know we've got Rinzel and Levshinov on the right side for a long time. For the future of this team. So it's going to be interesting to see of those two kids, who's going to be the guy on the top pairing, who's going to be the second pairing guy, who's going to work better with Vlasic, who's going to, so all stuff to be paying attention to in these last few games of the season.
Yeah, I joked on the Monday or show, maybe it was the Sunday post game, like take out Murphy and just make it all like young defense. But I was kind of joking. You always get a veteran back there, right? You're not going to scratch Connor Murphy, so it makes sense. And EDM had the draw back in, right? I thought he was playing well. Probably didn't deserve to be scratched in the first place. But when you got such a logjam, a young D up here, it's like there's got to be somebody's got to be out of the lineup, right? And Korchinski's probably played, I'd say, unfortunately, the worst of the few so far. And Rinzel, I mean, he played so well to where it's like I'm happy they're showing that trust in him, put him in the first D pair. I wonder if he's going to be manning the first power play as well, since Lepshinov, is on a second pair. I wonder if they'll just swap those two of everything. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought, just to echo those sentiments again, I thought he was the most noticeable Hawk on Sunday, and let's see him keep cooking here tonight. Yeah.
DFO right now has Levshinov manning the first unit, and then Rinzel and Vlasic both playing the second unit.
Yeah, so they're still rolling up that 2D strategy in the second unit. Interesting. Yeah.
How are we feeling about? I mean, there's a lot of ways we can take this conversation. I think a Kevin Korchinski conversation is one that's going to be probably had through the summer. In terms of like what does this guy's AHL playoffs look like? How many games can he get in the rest of the season? Does the draft and free agency come and go and he remains on the roster, or is he used as a trade chip to maybe parlay that into some help up front, right?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of dialogue around this guy in X as well. And it's like, I think we've even been having a lot of this dialogue too, but it is definitely a question mark. I'd say of those, like, top 4D that you hope would be in the cards for our future, like he's kind of the wild card there. We're kind of crazy already that Rinzel feels like he's already surpassed him after one game in the NHL, but it's like, dude, he just looks so confident there. It's like Levshinov, I've been so impressed with him so far. His first 10 games been fantastic. We know what we have before Vlasic. Korchinski, we don't really know what we have, right? He's played most of the season, pretty much all season in the AHL, back up here for the end of the season. I think a part of it goes to show, too, is just a difference in developing defensemen, the NCAA versus juniors. Because if you look at those top 4D, right, 3 of the 4 all developed in college, right? Rinzel, Levshinov, Vlasic. And Korchinski was the only one of those 4 who went the junior route. Obviously, was forced to play in the Hawks last year because of that silly rule where it's like, oh, if you're 18, 19, you have to play in the NHL. You can't play in the AHL. And I hate to say it, but that may have screwed with him a little bit. I think he's playing a little bit of catch up here. He's had an up and down season at Rockford. Still only 20 years old. Like, I think it's important to remember that. He's still so young. I think he provides some intangibles in the offensive zone that other guys don't, which is why I think it's worth holding on to him here. He's still such a young player. But look, when you have 3 defensemen you think are pretty confident are going to be studs, if you are able to lose one of them and maybe get something back in the forward core, that wouldn't be a terrible strategy. It's a dilemma for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Kyle Davidson should consider it as an option, you know, especially this summer. You know, maybe offer it up to certain teams, but like if the return's not like really favorable, don't force it. Like we don't like I do believe that Kevin Korchinski is going to be a good NHL player. It's just like he needs time, and so yeah, I mean, we want to be competitive as soon as possible, obviously, but don't throw things away just because you're like, oh, this is going to take time and it might be a bit more of a project. Because like we thought, like when Renzel was drafted, that was like supposed to be a project guy, you know, and it's like,
and now it looks like Korchinski's a project.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like this guy spends 2 years in college and he's NHL ready already. So yeah.
I just think Hawks fans. What do you mean?
Well, now you've got your guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does.
You've got Vlasic, you've got Renzel, you've got Levshinov.
That's why the discourse is happening so much over Korchinski is because it's like you've got 3 guys that like you know are going to be studs in the league.
And you've got other guys like Kaiser and Del Mastro and Allen and
Crevier
and assume even 2 of those guys fill out the other 3 spots. Yeah. And then maybe the 6th spot is a veteran or another, you know,
somebody else you bring in
via free agency, you know.
Yeah, I just think with Hawks fans, they have to temper their expectations or change them with Kevin, right? Where it's like, we drafted this guy thinking he was going to be our number 1 defenseman. Now he might be our number 4, but it's like, even if he is, that's not a bad thing, right? Imagine what that top 4 could look like in the future. He could still be a really solid second pair, you know, power play quarterback. I still think that's something he could probably do that nobody else here could do as well as quarterback to power play. I still think he has offensive instincts that could be, you know, the potential there is still there for him. I think he's got to work out a lot in the defensive zone if he wants to be a core piece here. But yeah, and again, you mentioned a lot of those other guys that we have, the Del Mastros, the Creviers, the Kaisers,
Matthew Schaefer to the list too. It's like,
but these are probably 3rd pair defensemen. I don't know if any of these guys have star potential. Like Korchinski still has that potential. I'm not saying he's going to be a star in this league, but he still has that type of ceiling. So I think it's still worth holding on to him. But you know, if a team, you know, his value is still pretty high at the moment. If a team is able to pony up quite a bit, and it helps us out, you know, it helps us build that forward core, then it's an option. I'm not saying you take it, but it's not a bad backup option if you feel like now is the time to move on. I don't think it is. I think it's still very early with him. And also, like, this is Kyle Davidson, man. Like, this is his pick, right? A lot of those guys are Bowman's picks.
That's a good point.
I don't think Korchinski's a guy, especially you trade to Brinkett for that draft pick. I don't think that's a guy that he's going to just move on from willy-nilly. Like, it would take quite a package, I think. Yeah,
it's a good point.
I think 2 things, you know, one, it costs a lot to get a lot in the NHL. Like I don't know, you have to trade a lot to get somebody that you want, right? So that's one thing. The other thing too, a big comparison for me for Kevin Korchinski, the way things have gone is Bowen Byram, you know, and how.
It's a good comparable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you don't really have the same like injury trouble there with Korchinski. But just, you know, up and down development path, you know, but it was traded and moved on from a guy that Colorado like thought they had internally. Like they also have the benefit of having Kel McCarr on their team too and Devin Tays. So other guys are expendable, right? But yeah, I don't know. I just I could see like, I don't know, like is Bowen Byram like a top defenseman in the NHL? Like, I don't know. No,
but he's still a damn good like second pair defenseman. Yeah. If Korchinski becomes that type of defenseman, I don't think I'll complain in the slightest. Yeah, as long as he stays healthy. That's the main problem. Bowen Byram is staying healthy.
Yeah.
I think if Korchinski could turn into like a Brandon Montour, like a second line guy that's got a lot of offensive upside and you can play on, you know, your first or second power play unit, there's a role for that on this team. But yeah, it depends on what you could get back for him, I'd say is what should be considered when we're talking about trading this kid.
Yeah. Also, like, it is something to think about too. He does seem to be a really well-liked guy in the room. There is a certain Blackhawk on that team who's it seems like they're best friends over there too. I'm bringing up Connor Bedard there. So it's like, you know, that is something to think about as well.
Yeah. It is and it isn't at the same, you know, Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, like, you know, sorry. Yeah. You guys got Dylan Cousins now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, what you get back in return, like, it would have to be, you know, pretty special. Yeah.
I think Connor Bedard would rather be playing with David Pastrnak.
Yeah, Matt Barzal.
Matt Barzal. Then
I know. I'm just saying, like, dude, like I look at like that's a guy that just his eyes seem to spark when he sees him in the room. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know.
We're gonna ask Andy about maybe trying to pry Barzal from the Islanders.
Now, if you can do that, then that's definitely an avenue that worth considering there.
Yeah, but we might. I mean, I know I've talked about that a few times on the show. I might be on to absolutely nothing, but I just, you never know.
No, there's been a lot of discourse around it. I don't think we're on the nothing here, right? They will have a decision to make there for sure, man. But I think it's a good problem to have. Like when you have all these, studs in your blue line, you can't really have too much.
Absolutely. So you're saying we should draft Matthew Schaefer?
God, no, I just said that. God damn it. No, that's the thing, though. Like, it's like I look at this decor and I'm like, my goodness, how could somebody come to the conclusion that that's our biggest need right now is beyond me? But
no,
anyway,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But if you do trade, that's the thing, though. If you draft Schaefer, then you kind of have to trade him, then I feel like. Because, then there's not room for 5 stud defensemen, right?
Yeah, Korchinski's not going to play. I don't know if that's like a third pairing guy.
No, not at all.
It's
because
not the
third pairing guys are like defensive defensemen. Yeah. And that is not Kevin Korchinski in the slightest. So, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. But I mean, if you had Schaefer, Vlasic, Rinzel, Levshinov.
I'll admit, like that's probably the best all-timer deep.
Yeah,
that might be one of the best decors ever.
You're right.
Is that seriously?
No. That would probably be the best decor in the NHL in like 3 years.
I'm still taking Misa because I still think what we have now has that potential.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You've sold me. Draft Matthew Schaefer.
Oh no!
Draft him.
Can you imagine that top 4 though? I mean, that's an all-star team top 4.
Yeah.
Assuming these guys all continue to like develop the way they have thus far in their careers, like they're all like Levshinov, Rinzel are going to get so much better than they are right now. Like
you can sign players to score. Come on.
Yeah. No, it might be a little harder to start signing players to score when you've got a fucking 40 team league though.
Yeah. All right.
I'm having an aneurysm over here, man.
So how are we like? The mood is better. We're gonna get to some clips here in a second, but like the mood is better with the younger lineup and all these new players, and it's just more fun.
Dude,
I'm actually excited for these games again. Like, there's been a lot of Blackhawks game this year where it's like, oh shit, the Blackhawks play today. Like, I'm not even looking forward to watching it. But now it's like we have so many real Blackhawks where it's like the prospects are actually here. They're no longer prospects, right? They're with the Blackhawks. They're growing. They're developing. It's a young team. The future is there. So it's like I actually get jazzed up for these games again. I think that's fun. Like expectations in terms of win-loss against an Avalanche team aren't really there. It's probably going to be a tough one to win. But it's like, hey, as long as the young kids can show out, make it fun, make it interesting to watch, it's like that's what I want to see. I want to see development. I want to see growth. And I'll be happy. Yeah,
dude, we're gonna get pumped 6-3 tonight, but we're gonna have a couple of first NHL points. Rinzel's gonna look good again. Levshinov's gonna be solid, and we're gonna be like, here we go. We're chilling, like no biggie.
We'll take it. Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, whereas earlier in the year we'd get pumped 6-3, and it'd just be like staring out the window, trying not to cry. So, it's a much more positive feeling around the team right now.
I will say something, though. The season series is actually 2-1 Hawks. So there's actually a little bit on the line tonight where it's like if the Hawks can somehow upset the Avs, they can win that season series, which I don't think a lot of people would imagine that. So lose it, you still tie it. But there is something to play for from that front. Yeah.
We definitely have seen this team play up to competition throughout this year. So hopefully
they matched up well against the Avs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hopefully we see that again tonight, and it's a competitive game, and whatever happens. It's not like a loss here does anything to us. So, it's a good feeling right now.
Yeah, there's also a team that already made his debut against. So let's see it come for Solker and score that first career goal tonight. Yeah.
Let's hear from the coach on communication with Kyle Davidson about a younger lineup.
Conversation with Davidson about what they want from these guys, how much they want them to play, or is it strictly on you to decide who plays what and how much?
Well, we communicate, yeah. Well, I mean, we every day about different things of his lineups, and obviously these guys are signed. We want to give them an opportunity here to play. So, I think that's then within the game, there's times where we change lines or feel like something's not working or someone's not going, then we'll tweak it. But yeah, I think that's normal, right?
Mm-hmm. Good. I mean,
podcast fellas.
You love this is Tassos's favorite thing to do is Anders Sorensen gives us nothing in his interview, and then it ends, and Tassos just looks at me.
Well, we're waiting.
Yeah, no, I do think that it's probably a dynamic that Kyle Davidson has more power than other GM coach relations
Especially
around the league.
interim.
Yeah, exactly. So I would imagine Kyle Davidson's probably steering the ship a little bit more than the average general manager. Is that fair to say?
Probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I like the lineup today. I like that we have all this youth, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how many more times I can say on this show that this is a good thing that we are playing our young prospects.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Davidson definitely has some say on like who's on the team at the moment, but I doubt he's steering the ship in terms of the line combos every night. I'm sure that's probably Sorensen's decisions there. But if that's the case, then maybe Davidson's the guy who's. But I'm just joking there. But yeah, no, I think yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, right? I mean, Sorensen's not going to be here; he's a placeholder. So Davidson's definitely steering the ship from that regard. Yeah,
Davidson's probably like, hey, I didn't sign Oliver Moore and Sam Rinzel to have them sit in the press box. Like, play
yeah,
them,
no, exactly. Them. Yeah, Rinzel. I mean, I think it's very telling that Rinzel is top pair, and Moore has actually got some support tonight. So, like to see that for sure. Yeah,
yeah, good to see that they've like finally made a fourth line,
yes.
know, instead of trying to put like Foligno so high up the lineup and play him with young, speedy players. It's like, let the kids play together and let the unks hang out on the fourth line and do their job. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes tonight, just because like we haven't really seen Reichel in like this kind of situation like almost all year, where he's not with like an unk. So it could go really bad, or it could be amazing and prove us right, and we'll all look like geniuses.
I've been calling for this all season, it. So I really hope Lucas proves me right there. Maybe Oliver Moore could be the man who unlocks him there, right? So it's just refreshing to see him actually playing with fellow talent. And yeah, like you said, like Maroon, Foligno, like that's an actual fourth line. Like let the unks, fill the time out there, let the kids rest, and that's the way it should be. So hopefully Reichel sticks up there, the rest of the year here. Yeah, no more fourth line from Reichel.
Let's hear from the coach on that third line with Oliver Moore and Lucas Reichel.
With Slager, Moore, and Reichel together, it's a lot of speed on that third line. What are you looking for the three of them?
Exactly that. Well, Oliver's played center all year in Minnesota, so we want to give him an opportunity to see how that looks. And then, to your point, there's a lot of pace on that line, right? So we want to see them together and kind of see how it goes, right? So in a way, we're going to find out if. What we have there, and if that's an opportunity for him to stay in the middle or not for a little bit.
I love that decision. I love putting Moore at the center. That's kind of where I envision him end up being like in the long run, is like a really solid third line center that can like drive his own line and also play, defensively responsible enough to be the center on a line. And so, yeah, let's see how he does. Obviously, it's really early. It's his second career game in the league. But why not? Why not try it out now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Reichel and Slager are guys that make sense to play with them, right? They're both speedy, right? Slager kind of win puck battles, get to the puck. I think that could be a very fun line to watch tonight. That's and really just kind of we'll be able to hone his skills, right? What makes him a good player. So I think definitely we'll be looking out for some first career points tonight. I'd like to see more Rinzel get on the board. I think he's got the situation to make that happen there. I think that'll provide some spark into what's a late game, or hopefully we won't be asleep. That'll wake us up.
Absolutely. What else do we want to hear from him again? About Nick Foligno?
Nick Foligno or competition for spots? I mean, we can listen to both of them.
It's such a hard decision.
Let's go with Foligno here. Let's stay in chronological order. Yeah.
He's gotten younger and younger and younger and younger. How have you seen Nick Foligno's role evolve in that? I mean, this is an old veteran team when the year started, and now it's just like, children everywhere.
Teenager. Okay. He's been great. I think he knows the value of helping these younger guys out. If it's off the ice, on the ice, within practice. If it's little tips, kind of like we talked about now on the wall, right? How to handle wall battles, how to put yourself in those situations. Yeah, so I think he's really valuable in that area, and I think his ice time fluctuates a little bit, but he knows his role, and he's really good at handling those. If he's up the lineup or down the lineup, he plays the same way, right? Which is also a good message for the young guys, right? Because I think sometimes they get wrapped up of where they are in the depth chart or not, but I think Nick's a good example of he plays the same way no matter what.
That is true. He does. And you obviously need, some veterans in the room. And I'd imagine Foligno probably is really enjoying the situation right now, because it's like there's not a lot of pressure. He seems to be really good with the younger players. So I'd imagine it's a pretty fun situation just with all these kids like turning pro. And I bet it's a really entertaining locker room.
Yeah, at the same time, I do kind of feel for him too, because like he's in the later stage of his career here, and he's not cup chasing contenders here. He's kind of putting the fruits in the ground of the labor of this young lineup here that he might not be around for. I think he went on to say in that clip. So we'll see. I mean, maybe he sticks around longer than we think, but he's got 1 year left on that deal here. We put up that captain post today, but I think I've said all year, I think in the room he's done his job right, said all the right things. Good leader for the young guys. I think Bedard looks up to him, etc. So it's still producing around the rate you'd expect for a 36-year-old Nick Foligno. So no, I think I've been satisfied with his job. I'm sure for him, he's looking forward to more winning hockey, but that's a ways away. But build a culture here for the youth. I think that's what it's all about. Yeah.
I don't think we need to feel bad for him for not like cup chasing right now. I don't think you sign a 2-year deal here in Chicago if you want, like, if that's what you want, I think he knew exactly what he was.
He's making $4.5 million too. So yeah. I guess he's doing okay, right?
Yeah, he's making a bag right now at this stage in his career. And I don't know, some guys are just like happy to give back to the game. And I think that's kind of what Foligno's doing a bit right now. So
yeah, I got it. Pat Maroon's done it too, but I wouldn't feel bad for a guy like that because like he's finishing up here and he's won cups in his career. The only reason I say that about Foligno is I don't think he's ever won a cup, if I'm not mistaken. So he's kind of throwing that away and building something here, a team that could be winning cups when he's gone. So that's kind of what I was going for there. But I see your point. Yeah.
Even though we have somebody in chat that said no more Sorensen clips, should we play the last one?
Yeah, let's play the last one. I think that's exactly what he was asking for.
I think they're saying like no more Sorensen clips. Like they're
Can we hit the horn?
I don't think we're gonna miss some.
Can we hit the horn? We've got one more Anders Sorensen clip for you. So let's get everybody on their feet for thank you for Anders Sorensen on competition for spots.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. You see it, right? Because the guys were kind of coming in, a lot of them have a lot of pace, right? So I think in the last couple of practices, for example, the pace has been elevated. But we talked about it, I think, a couple of days ago. The D, like there's a competition for spots now, right? And, a guy like Del Mastro that's been playing well has set out a game or two. I'm sure he's going to get back in here soon, I'm sure. But there's all of a sudden competition for those spots, right? And I think that's healthy. And it elevates everybody. And you can practice longer with the younger guys.
Anders Sorensen with a joke?
I'm telling you, Monday was really funny. Monday was really funny. I don't know if he's
getting like comfortable.
I don't know if he's just.
I don't know if I like that. Like, don't tell this guy's gonna get an interview or something during the summer, right? He's not gonna be in the. He's not gonna be amongst the contenders for next coach there, is he? I hope not.
Let me put a hypothetical out there.
Oh, shut up! Oh,
let me put a hypothetical.
Put it out there. This is gonna be bad bait.
The Blackhawks are unable to pry David Carl out of Denver. He decides he wants to stay there and remain a coach in college. And no other candidate. Mike Sullivan remains in Pittsburgh somehow. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of it right now because I don't think you guys want.
No, there's no scenario. There's no scenario where I want to hang on to Anders Sorensen. I'm sure there's.
What if you
But
had him-
you don't want to hire
option out there
Justin.
somewhere.
You don't want to hire some scrub just for it to like also not
We
work.
have
Like
scrub right now.
if there's no truly good option available, you
can't
hold,
tell me there isn't.
You
You
hold
can't
on,
tell me there isn't.
You hold on to the current scrub you have until someone else becomes available. You don't want to bring in some other interim scrub who's slightly less scrub than Anders Sorensen.
You can't tell me there isn't an option out there that exists. If you're not able to find that, then that's on you. You tell me there isn't a better option out there.
I guess that's kind of a fair point you make here.
I mean, like, do you really think Sorensen's the guy you want steering the ship here? Like, we want next season to be better, right? You want
just saying
Sorensen
that,
to
like,
lead the charge here.
even if you could sign him to like a 1-year deal where, because any coach you bring in is going to come in with a 4 or 5 year deal for maybe $20 million. And let's say he's not the guy that you really envision for this team for the next 4 or 5 years. And then you have to fire him. And then that you still are paying that. Like, it's not, there's no salary cap for coaches, but there's also no relief, financial relief from firing somebody too. You pay out the remainder of their contracts. I'm just saying, I just thought I'd rage bait you guys a little bit, see if we could.
No,
that's what you're doing,
I
man.
understand. I understand the hypothetical. Yeah,
He's
I
been
think
funny in these. Like, not that that's his job, but
I think if you're bringing someone in this summer, if it's not a home run, I don't want it.
And then make it a home run, man. Davidson can't afford to not make it that. Like, I think this is probably the biggest decision of his career so far as GM. If he doesn't make this right, then it's it. Like, I feel like this is kind of his last shot here, is to nail this coach.
Thomas wants to keep Anders for the tank for McKenna.
Oh my! Can I just stop? Can I just leave? No, I'll stick around.
I
All right.
don't say this very often, but the Blackhawks should hire Spiros Anastas to be their head coach,
Yeah, your boy.
assistant coach of the Chicago Wolves.
Do you think we could get interviews if that happened?
With the team?
No, with him.
Oh, yeah. But, still, that's not. That would be too smart of a hire for the Blackhawks to go out and make Spiros their coach. So, yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
I was reading this, Daily Faceoff article, this sheet with Jeff Merrick.
I had it up.
And he seems to think that David Carl, the Hawks, makes a lot of sense. No, it's not just us.
That one.
It's not just us saying it. Like, there are actual like NHL people out there. I mean, we are NHL people, but other NHL people out there who are saying it too. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think I'm being delusional in putting out the David Carl propaganda out there. I think it makes too much sense. Yeah.
What did he say? I just pulled up. You linked the article. I'm trying to find it, but
Well, he basically just said with all the young guys the Hawks have, like David, which Chicago would make a lot of sense, for a destination for Carl. I mean, a lot of the guys he's coached, a lot of the prospects he's coached on the U.S. team, etc. So yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I'd be really happy with David Carl. That's probably my my front runner on my coaching wish list. Personally,
Yeah.
Justin,
Sure.
I thought you were commenting on the other Daily Faceoff article.
Oh, there's another
pertaining
one.
to the Chicago Blackhawks. Go to dailyfaceoff.com and read me the headline for the.
Oh, you're gonna love it, Justin.
Read me the
You're
headline.
You're gonna have a
For the-
stroke
for the
trying to
front
read
page.
the headline. You're gonna have a stroke trying to read the headline. But
let's see. Oh my God, this son of a, who wrote this article?
he needs to get down to the bottom of it. He needs to find.
All right,
out.
so Paul Paduti. I don't know if that's how you say his name.
Paul Paduti.
What if it was
Paul
Stephen
Paduti
Ellis?
from Adjusted Hockey. Here's the headline, quote, "The disappointing Connor Bedard's unpaved path to stardom," end quote. Oh my goodness gracious. My goodness.
Are we doing title talk?
Should we?
I don't want to hear
It's
it, man.
that's a bit of a confusing title. Also,
I
a
didn't
bit
like it.
provocative.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what is that even, like, unpaved path to stardom? Like, I think there's clearly a path to stardom here for Bedard. What's he saying there?
You sometimes are worried that like I say things on this show that like will come back to bite me or whatever.
Yeah, I do believe that.
Does this guy like writing this article? Like, are you going to interview Connor Bedard eventually? Like, is that not going to be like a weird situation? Like, that's kind of a bogus article and a bogus title. No? Am I tweaking? Is that not like just as unfair as I have been about insert bad player that I've talked about on this show?
I don't know.
No, nothing.
No, okay. So I don't know that even like this article is made to like drive clicks. Right?
Oh,
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know that any of those clicks are going to be by one Connor Bedard. Like, I don't know that Paul Patuti's writing is reaching Connor Bedard. Like, maybe like.
Oh,
Okay.
he says
All right,
addicted to his
then
phone,
do
man.
not
I don't
say,
know.
then you can't say anything about me slandering anybody on the show because are they watching CHR on a Wednesday afternoon?
Maybe.
Like,
It might be. Who knows?
Who knows? And Connor may check Daily Face-Off. Like,
Yeah.
some of those guys may check. Like, it's
Connor
one of
Bedard
the-
probably is the type of guy to go on Daily Face-Off.
He strikes me as the type of guy who's just like reading all the hockey stuff, like a hockey nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, but that stuff can get to you too. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
This
Lauren
article-
Lauren confirmed the English professor is angry at the title. Thank you. When I read that, I was like, what? Why did
Godzilla's
he
having a
phrase it like
stroke
that?
trying to read this.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think it's easy from an outsider's perspective to look at Connor Bedard's first 2 seasons and view them as disappointing. But it's like, if you've been watching this team, covering this team like we have, like, it's not that. Like, I could have been better, yes, but it's like I've said it before. It's like there's only so much you could do with the squad around you. So it's not like he took some massive step back from year 1 to year 2. A slight regression, sure, but there have been other star players in the NHL. One of them we're facing tonight, Nathan McKinnon, who have had much worse second-year seasons on better teams. So, no reason to panic there from that perspective. I know, those articles try to create that type of sensationalism around Bedard, but I'm not buying it. Yeah.
So the article's a little weird. He says in the article that he expected Bedard to take a 40-goal, 100-point step this year, which seems like a bit much.
Yeah,
This
I
team?
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
no.
that's just like it's ridiculous. Go ahead, take that off. Yeah, dude. I mean, if you watched last year and you're like, I think he's gonna have 100 points this year, I think you're a little cuckoo. I think maybe at the start of the year I was hoping for like 80 plus, which was
like point per game.
already which was already like a little overzealous. But when I watch Connor Bedard, there's no doubt in my mind that this kid isn't going to be like a perennial 100-point getter.
Yeah, no, there's no worry for me there. So, I think we're gonna look back on this season, like I think, and laugh about it, just with all the, there's been a lot of recency bias takes with him. So I think it's gonna be fun to look back on. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
It's funny because he has like the generational talents, era adjusted points per game per 82 is a chart he has in here. And he's got on this chart Gretzky, Lemieux, Yager, Lindros, Ovechkin, Crosby, McDavid, Bedard. And those are the players he's comparing to one another.
And he's like, this kid's disappointing. It's like, bro, what are you doing right now?
But like for every one of those players that is out there, there are Nathan McKinnons who, like where's Nathan McKinnon on this list, right?
Because he was
nowhere to be
bad.
seen because it doesn't support that argument, right? Because he'd be ahead of him there. I think Jack Hughes is another one, right? Like there have been other first overall picks who take a little longer to get going. And like Bedard's still putting up, 60, 70-point pace on these Blackhawks teams. Like there's no reason for me to look at that and be worried at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Where do we go from here a little bit?
Let's see. Do we want to talk about Sasha Boisvert transferring to Boston University? Get some prospect talk.
They also made a signing. They signed Tage Harding.
That's
out of
right. Yeah, they
college.
did. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a guy who's ever going to be. He could be like a 7th defenseman in the NHL. He strikes me as more of a minor league AHL player. He does have quite the size. I think he's like 6'6" or something. So
He's
that back end of the
6'7".
Hawks continues.
6'7". I just bipped right on the highway. No one. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get that reference. But yeah, 4 years
me
of
neither.
Providence. Numbers don't jump off the page, but definitely a defensive shutdown defensive what I've seen. The size is intriguing, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this guy's ever going to be an NHL player. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2021, so we'll see. It's just with all the defensemen we have here, like I just don't really see where he fits in. He's probably a Rockford Ice Hog, but we'll see. Yeah.
Could you imagine if this kid was an NHLer though? He is 23, so
He's massive, dude.
That's what's intriguing, right? If he is able to make, like, Krebs's a guy I would have never expected to be like an everyday, I mean, he's not everyday, but like semi-everyday NHL player. It looks like he's going to become that. So if he could do that too, like that's the size there is very intriguing.
this guy could be a better Louis Crevier.
Bottom pairing Louis Crevier and Tage Harding.
Yeah, the towers there. It'd be hard to get past that. Yeah.
They're both like, yeah. Isn't Crevier even taller? Is Crevier like 6'8"?
Crevier's like 6'8". Yeah, he's almost Chara size. Yeah, so imagine a 6'8", 6'7" deep pair.
That would
Good
be
Lord.
disgusting.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, no, not really much expectations, but love to be proven wrong. Yeah.
I doubt he's reporting straight to Rockford, I imagine.
Yeah, Rockford. He's not going to be playing any games here. Yeah.
Yeah.
This season. Yeah.
But yeah, so the other bit of news, Sasha Boisvert will now be playing for the Boston University Terriers, leaving North Dakota.
Yeah, I think that's good for his development. I mean, BU is one of the best. That's one of the stopping grounds of college hockey right there, and he's going to be playing with a lot of talent around him. Cole Eiserman. I think Jack Pridham's going to be going to BU as well, another Blackhawks prospect. So that team's going to be loaded. The Hawks BU pipeline continues. They've had quite a few players go there. Vlasic, the Comessos of the world, etc. So. No, I think it's good for him. Should be nice to take that next step because he was on a North Dakota team this year that wasn't really that good. He was still their top producer, probably their best player. So kind of sucks that Jonathan Toews connection there ends, but I think a new one begins there. I think BU would be nice for him next year. Could be in the Hobie Baker running, and hopefully we'll see him as a Hawk at the end of next season. Yeah.
The Jonathan Toews connection. I think it's a really good thing. We want to see him in the biggest moments possible on the best team. You want your prospects to be in the best situations possible, and I think going from North Dakota to BU is massively improving it's a change of scenery in the best possible way. So hopefully he's an absolute beast and one of the best players in college hockey next year.
I think he has the potential, man. Like he had quite an underrated rookie season, not really talked about enough. 18 goals, 14 assists, 32 points, 37 games. Really impressive rookie year. Like I'll admit, when we drafted him, was like I knew a little bit about him, but he wasn't really like the number one guy I wanted at the time. But now, man, like he's looking like he could be quite a complete player there. Maybe our 2C there. So, really excited to see what he can do. Keep developing there, and I think the ceiling's very high in this kid. Yeah,
absolutely.
North Dakota firing their coach, Brad Berry, after 10 seasons. He was the first ever coach in NCAA to win a national championship in his first season as coach, and they fired him. So they are seeing some departures of players from their group and guys that are heading over to other schools to see what they have to offer. So Sasha Boisvert leaving,
Yeah, University of North Dakota is in a full rebuild right now.
They had this kid, Jaden Perron, left, signed with Michigan yesterday.
Like their best players left. Yeah. They're going to be even worse unless they don't have some incoming talent there.
Yeah. All right. What else? This is going to be a little bit of a shorter Hawks hour. It won't be exactly an hour because we have Andy Francess coming on at 12:30 Central. And then we have the draft of, did we decide this or not? Are we doing
all-time NHL, right? Yeah.
All right. So when we said all-time NHL yesterday, I thought we meant we were doing retired players. And so I prepped for that. Now, if you want to throw in active guys as well,
we could do retired. Yeah, that's. I mean, we want to do a vote.
We'll do. Let us know. Let us know in the chat right now. What we should do for this draft, and we will make an audible. And if we're doing, should we do just retired guys, or should we do all-time active and retired? Because the retired list is enough. Like I prepped.
Yeah, we could separate them. We could also do just the
I went
current
like 50
one.
players deep on a prep list.
Didn't we do current already?
Last week. Yeah, we did current last week, but it was just based on this season.
That would change it.
Yeah, it would absolutely.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't take Draisaitl first. Or McKinnon first.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, chat is the decider. They're the all-knowing being there, so we'll let them figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, the vote is 2-2 in chat right now, so we need some more votes.
Jordan 2-2 reference.
Both is not an answer either. It's either retired players or retired and active.
So we're not gonna do both today.
Maybe that's what both means. Maybe that's what both means.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. That's probably what that means.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, the Hawks' next game is until Friday. We can break that down the Friday show. We'll have plenty more time to talk about Ovi and his goal chase. 8 games left here. Pretty crazy. We're in the stretch run here. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hit a break.
Yep.
And then when we return, Andy Francess from YouTube will be joining us, and then the draft of whatever you guys end up deciding in the comments. Andy Francess on the other side. Chicago Hockey Radio. You're watching and listening. Stick around. Welcome back. It's the NHL Hour, Chicago Hockey Radio. Once again, please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel and to tell a friend to do so as well. Helps us out greatly. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So you can't get to 1,000 without hitting every number along the way. So we're going to bring on Andy Francess here in about a second or two.
A second or two, you say?
Yes, he is in the waiting room now. So Raven's going to bring him in momentarily. We're going to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're going to get to see him act like a fangirl for a little bit, and what maybe that looks like.
I don't know why I'm getting slandered. Like, God forbid I enjoy someone else's content.
No,
right?
no. That's the kind of, interactions we want to have with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have him? Andy,
Yeah,
do we have you?
We might have him.
That's my bad. That's my bad.
It's whatever you want. It's whatever you want.
And I'll get the video situated.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. You guys want to talk a little bit about like games last night then for a sec?
Yeah, I mean,
like 7 seconds or something. Yeah.
And like 30 seconds in, that's a big win for the Canadians and their playoff push, man. Big for them. And Hudson had 3 assists too. He leads the way. That's my Calder pick right there. I think Celebrity's now 9 points behind him in the Calder race. So yeah, there you go. Attaboy, Lane Hudson.
And now that was like a big win for Montreal because they're 2 points ahead of everyone else pretty much now.
Columbus got a big win last night.
And Columbus does have a game in hand. So, I mean, they can...
They're still in it. Yeah,
they're still in it. Do you think, like, I don't know. I'm excited to hear what Andy thinks about the Islanders, but like Rangers, Wings, Justin, you think those teams are
they're all done?
Oh, they're done. They're cooked. Yeah, the Wings, they had to get 2 points last night. They only got 1. They choked, man. I think it was like 20 seconds left. The Blues tied the game there and then won in overtime. Very similar to the Canadians game, but reversed. They're 75 points. I think they're 4 out or something like that. But I don't know. It feels like they're cooked.
Rangers are just 2 points out. Like
that team just doesn't do any. If I had to pick one, I think both the Habs and Jackets just seem to have more steam at the moment. They're more jazzed up, I think, for playoff hockey. So the Rangers just don't really move me. Yeah.
The Vegas Golden Knights also clinched a playoff spot despite losing last night to the Edmonton Oilers.
Good for them. Yeah, that was a good game. Tough. That was a good game though, because that could be a potential like round 2 matchup.
Yeah.
It's probably like the most likely round 2 matchup there. Also, my Calgary Flames lost in regulation, which I love to see. I think I'm gonna be safe. I think I'm fine.
I think you're both safe.
I think we're both safe.
The Blues ruined the fun for everybody. 10 straight wins for them.
Thank God.
Yep. I mean, where did this come from, man? Literally the hottest team post 4 Nations. I think they're 16-2-2 since then. Now they passed the Wild now, actually. They're in the first wild card spot. So 6 point gap between the Wild and the Flames and 7 points to the Canucks. Yeah, that race is done. It's dusted. It's now just all about the East now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost more about like
Calgary would need to like win out essentially.
And also I feel like it's more likely that Minnesota would fall out before St. Louis.
Yep.
Louis
they've kind of been struggling. Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of people taking St. Louis in the first round. There he is. Look at
that background.
Am I clear or what?
Yeah.
Like, is it clear or is it blurry? Because I could focus it.
I think
it looks good.
Justin looks like he's in 3360p, so I don't even know what I'm on. It looks like he's broadcasting from 1967.
Justin uses a potato to record his videos.
We'll get an upgrade next season. Yeah.
As long as it's not. Do you have some sort of microphone? I assume, right?
Yes, right here. Yeah.
There you go. So that's really all that matters when it comes to listening. You know, it's one thing for you guys having this podcast, but like when I turn on the news, which I really try never to do, and I just see somebody reporting in their if it just happens to be on the TV, and I'm walking by and somebody's in their kitchen with like an AirPod delivering like what I'm supposed to be listening to. You think I'm listening? You could afford an AirPod as your primary microphone to deliver us this important information. Me in this bunker have put in 20 times more effort than you, and I got to be listening to what you're going to say about the stock exchange. No, doesn't work that way. And but when it comes to you guys, it's fine. But you know, I'd like to hold them to a higher standard.
Our setup here is pretty good. Like our setup in the studio, we've got the lights, we got like a kind of a background, we've got a good camera. It's just Justin's remote, so he kind of just uses his like ThinkPad laptop.
In my defense, it's also storming today, so the connection might be a little worse. Yeah.
What do you live like where Friday the 13th was? Are you just in the middle of the desolate woods?
I'm in Ohio, man.
He's in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's like the worst.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's the worst. It sucks. Yeah.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate you hopping on with us and taking the time. It's probably not very often that you get to do shows with people that are amongst your top 0.01% of YouTube watchers right here.
These guys are clowning me because Andy, I'm a big fan. I've watched you for a while. And I don't know why everyone's like humiliated to say like it's supposed to be a roast that I'm like, yeah, like what no. God forbid I support a man's content.
I mean, especially it's not like it's not like my videos get like millions of views, so everything really does help. Like whatever you've done along the way, even sharing it with these other guys, somebody had to share it originally. So it's very much appreciated. As I say in many of my videos, like when you see like I'm one of those guys, you just see like tens or hundreds of thousands of it. I don't care if you ever click on anything ever again, but it's still in this infancy stage, which I'm sure you guys know as you're trying to grow, trying to hit that next level of the snowball. Every click helps. So I really do appreciate it, especially when it's, you know, you seem just like a standard group of guys. I'm always just worried, like, who the hell is behind the computer watching this right now? Like, who's on the other side of this? What guy in Qatar needs a bet to cash for him to make money for God knows what? So when I see it's just a normal bunch of guys from, you know, the middle of the country, it makes me happy.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah, but we're pretty normal. Yeah.
You might change your mind by the end of this show. We'll see, though. But I mean, with the content you make, I can see, like, I mean, I've seen it in the comment section on the Patreon. Like, there are definitely some degenerates that watch you, like, because I mean, no, this guy really does. Like, if you care about the NHL and you're a sports bettor, it's like this is the guy to watch. So there's definitely some degens, and I can't lie, I've been there before. Something I want to ask you first about, I want to talk to you about your New York Islanders, your favorite team in the world. Do you see them having any chance of squeaking into that wild card 2 spot, or is it too little, too late?
No. Now, I just also want to make sure I understand this. You guys are all from the Chicago area?
More or less.
More or less.
Or are you all Blackhawks fans?
Yes, we're all Hawks fans.
More or less. More or less.
We cover the team. We cover the team.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Do you have disdain for this few years of not winning Stanley Cup?
Here, I'll explain it. So Justin and I are both from Chicago. We're both diehard Blackhawks fans. Tassos and I met in college. Tassos is from South Florida, but his family's from Toronto, so he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And so it's like, yeah, that's kind of how we're all here. So it's like Tassos covers the team. Justin and I are fans. It's an interesting.
And we
dynamic.
give Tassos crap all the time.
We
about
argue.
Being the Canadian asset.
Tassos regularly tries to rage bait Justin and I. So that's kind of like the dynamic.
That's good.
Yeah.
How was it in Southern Florida seeing a overwhelming contingent of people not give two rats' asses about a sport that, you know, was it's just like the NFL of Canada. It's on every TV as you walk by the bars. What was it like in what part of Southern Florida? Were you on the West Coast or the East Coast?
East Coast.
Yeah, so you just had a bunch of vacationing New Yorkers who really weren't in a position. So they maybe like the Rangers, but really hockey's the fourth, unfortunately, most popular sport in New York. So it's like you must have felt like just a diehard Jets fan living in northern Manitoba. It's like nobody cares what happened in week 12.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what that was like. But the only reason I ask about you guys being Blackhawks fans is just so I can kind of frame my thoughts on the Islanders, because I know if you guys are Blackhawks fans, the successes you've had, I don't even know if you want to call it failures, but the build up, like where you had to start from to get to those Stanley Cups ultimately. And for the Islanders, you know, a couple years back when Tavares left, they brought in Trotz, and he changed the philosophy of the team. They immediately started performing very well, and it was just a natural inclination. Like, they had a great record. They swept the Penguins that first year, lost in the second round. The very next year, they were in the conference final. Next year after that, conference final. And then that was the apex, and it's just been steadily down ever since. They did squeak in. The exact position they're in this year, they were in last year and kind of the year before that.
Yeah.
They squeaked in and just got waxed by the Canes, and that's all that would await them. So there would be zero excitement. If they ran the table and made it in, there would be zero excitement, because once they were 1 goal away from the Stanley Cup. They lost 1-0 in Game 7. Your bar gets moved to that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So simply just making it for the Sabres, that's a win right now. But for where I was just a few short years ago, I'd rather them miss the playoffs and bottom out.
Okay, this is perfect. So what do you want what do you want Old Man Lou to do? With what direction do you want the team to go with the Islanders? Because I've talked about on this show like multiple times, possibly trying to put together a competitive package from the Blackhawks perspective, obviously, for like a Matt Barzal. Do you think they're gonna try to build around like him and Sorokin and Dobson, or do you see maybe him selling those core pieces?
This is going to sound ridiculous, like it's out of SNL.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason he's not going to do a full rebuild is because he'll be dead. And I'm not kidding. He's in his 80s, I think. I know it sounds ridiculous, but he will be dead by the time of I know it sounds so weird to say out loud. No, but like if he wanted to say, all right, let's bottom out, get these draft picks, watch them, he will be dead by the time those draft picks have entered their prime.
So you're saying
yes, but really, and that's proof. The proof is in the pudding of how he's treated each deadline. He was trying to extend Brock Nelson to the very last minute. He didn't trade Kyle Palmieri because he has hopes of extending a guy who's 33 for another 3 years after this year, when it's just been a steady decline with this team. The thing that you should want to do is get as much as you can, like the Bruins did for all their older players, expiring contracts, even Marchand, if you have to make a tough decision, he's older. Charlie Coyle, they got what they could for. You get every last thing you can, and then you take your key player. They didn't trade Pasternak. They didn't make him available. They still have Charlie McAvoy. They still have Jeremy Swayman. And then now they have a ton of assets where if they see somebody who might become available on another team because they can't work out a contract, now they have all sorts of ammo to throw at that team to acquire another piece for a relatively quick retool, as long as you got those key pieces to build around. If you look at what guys like Holloway and Broberg, what they've done for a team like St. Louis, who you wouldn't have thought much of, but then all of a sudden, they made that trade with the Avalanche. So now all of a sudden they got a blue chip prospect. So if he joins the team next year, and then you use some of those draft picks you got to get another really good young player, now all of a sudden you have Barzal, you have Horvat, you do have a few players, and all of a sudden the entire energy around the team changes. You have the goalie that you want, but no, he's deciding to run it back after running it back after running it back, as the same exact team is getting progressively older and progressively worse. Like, I thought this year was the natural year. Nelson was coming off the books, Palmieri was coming off the books, and then next year, Anders Lee and Pajot both coming off the books. It's just a natural starting point to do a retool, and it can work out like it has for Washington, St. Louis. It doesn't have to be this full Iser plan where everything has to be thrown out the window for 10 years. Like we've seen that just small little moves can alter the course of your franchise, because you don't know which players are being underutilized by other teams, like Warren Fogle, who's got 20 goals and is a plus 25, like Holloway, who's literally like going to be a 75-point guy over there in St. Louis.
Yeah.
These guys are available to be plucked off of teams. And there's no better example of that than Devon Taves, who was like the number 5 defenseman on the Islanders when the Islanders were at that little apex I was just talking about. And they had Pulak and Pelech playing great. They had Boychuk and Nick Leddy. And then all of a sudden, Taves comes in there. He's on the last pairing with Scott Mayfield. They end up having to pay some of those other defensemen. And what happens? You have Sakic looking at him, seeing his analytics, which were like 99% across the board, if you believe in Jay Fresh and his whole thing that he's got going on over there. And what happens? He plucks Taves, and he's one of the best defenders in the league playing on Team Canada. He's as good as it gets every single year. There is that available on many other teams, like Marty Necas, who led the NHL in points through like Halloween, playing on a line with Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and I think Eric Robinson. He wasn't even up there with so all of a sudden they trade the same Colorado Avalanche, trade Rantanen for him. Everybody's just burying the Avalanche. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there saying, I've always thought that Necas was one of the best. Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is watch some of the tape on him. He's incredible. He leaps off the TV screen when you watch him. And just because there's not massive point production, because he plays in Carolina where nobody has massive point production, I like that the way the Avalanche do business in a lot of ways. I like the way kind of Tampa does business. They'll make tough decisions, let Stamkos go, and the Islanders are just nowhere near that. So I'm kind of disgusted by them.
Yeah, Vegas is also kind of cutthroat like that too a bit. I was gonna like put together like a trade package for Barzal, but as we just covered, Lou's gonna die, and so like I'm not gonna offer up.
What would that do?
I'm not gonna offer.
What would that do for the Isles?
Yeah,
why would the Isles want to get rid of him, who still has plenty of years in his prime? It just wouldn't do any good.
I don't know. We just saw a full rebuild here in Chicago, so maybe it's like, hey, we gotta.
You guys are doing it in a weird fashion, though. This is not. I don't like this weird rebuild where we're getting rid of the Brandon Hagels and we're getting rid of the pieces who would have been core pieces of a rebuild. It's like they want to lose a little bit more and go the Ducks route to stockpile like 6 top. First, it's like it wasn't enough to have Hagel and Bedard. No, they want to have like Bedard and 3 more versions of that, it seems, because it's the only reason you would get rid of some of these pieces that they have.
If we don't get rid of Brandon Hagel, we don't get Connor Bedard. Like if we hold on to DeBrincat and Hagel, like because people always like to say like, man, this team could have had Strome, DeBrincat, Hagel. It's like if we don't get rid of those guys, we don't have like half these prospects. Like we have Boisvert, who's just transferred to BU, but Oliver Moore, who just made his debut the other day.
You really think Brandon Hagel is changing your positioning in the standings?
I mean, presumably a little bit, yeah.
No, he's not.
We had an AHL team last year. The team
I fully understand. No, I understand that, but go look at Brandon Hagel's first year with the Lightning. I mean, he scored like 16 goal, 18 goal. Like this year, I can finally say Brandon Hagel is filling in that role that they had hoped for, because he didn't do it when they traded for him. Mm-hmm. He didn't do it the following year. Now, finally, he's turning into that player. So, yes, he would have had more points for certain just because of the amount of power play time and stuff like that. But there's no way Brandon Hagel is adding like 4 extra wins, 5 extra wins on your team. I mean, your team was so bad that I swear, what was one player going to do? When you guys got rid of Kane, all right, you lost with Kane, you lost without Kane. When you were that low, you were just going to keep losing.
Okay, I think this is a perfect segue. Tassos here has said that if you add Mitch Marner to this team, this Blackhawks team, he gives you, what was it, 10 to 15 wins?
Yeah, I did say that.
After you just said, what is one player going to do? How do you feel about that?
No. What is one Brandon Hagel going to do?
Okay.
Mitch Marner is going on like another 100-point season.
There you go.
Brandon
That's
Hagel's
a big difference. And I despise Mitch Marner just because that's the way he plays, just 100% of the time will not translate into the playoff style where they'll just let more go and people can just kind of bully Marner. Way too finesse for me. But regular season, he's absolutely going to help. You know, how much? You're right, though. Not games. Like how many wins did Tassos give him?
He said
10 to 15.
No, that's ridiculous. You get 5.
Thank you.
You get 5 more wins. Like if Mitch Marner doesn't play in a game, if he sits out tonight, the line's going to be exactly the same for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm. So there's no way he's like if Connor Bedard sits out, if he's a late scratch tonight, how much do you think the line moves on the game? A player who plays 20 minutes cannot just truly win you the game like that. I mean, I would argue that like if Vasilevsky doesn't play for the Lightning, that's the most drastic impact you can potentially see on a game. But Mitch Marner, he would have a bunch of points because think of all the opportunities. But man, like it takes more than just one to actually churn out wins. You know,
part of me saying
and
that
also,
is
what do you think? What do you
these
think of
guys.
Spencer Knight? What do you think of Spencer Knight? Because
we're big fans of him over here. Yeah.
I like him a lot. I said before the trade happened, I was like, if we could move Seth Jones and get Spencer Knight, I proposed Jones for Knight, and we retained 50% of Jones, and we ended up doing it for 25%, and we got a first-round pick. So I'm pumped with the trade. Knight isn't like a superstar just yet, but I think he's gonna be elite.
He has that potential.
Are you about to slander him right now? Are you about to shit on us?
No, I'm not. Well, I was just thinking about something the other day. I wonder how many goalies in the NHL would have been really good if they didn't have a period where they had to withstand an awful team in front of them that destroys their inner confidence, which is very goalies, it's the most mental position in the game. So you're talking, well, I'll just be honest with you, someone who's had a couple of bouts with mental issues, which has taken him out of the league a couple times already. I wonder just if the Blackhawks are awful again next year and this guy has an 880 save percentage and they're just lighting him up for 5 goals, even in games where he plays well, if it's easy to just kind of come back from that. I mean, Fleury, he was started on a real bad Penguins team, but that's just something I thought about. I don't know the answer. Like, yeah, I'm sure if we went back and looked,
it's reasonable to bring up. I think that like the Blackhawks, we have Arvid Soderblom, who's not like great. We have Brossoit, who's, I don't even know if this guy exists.
I don't even think we have Brossoit. We haven't even seen this guy.
We've got Comesso in the AHL. Like, there are other goaltenders here that if we need to kind of insulate him a little bit, like we don't have to play him 50 plus games next year if we don't want to. But I think that the kid's got his, I don't know, he seems like a bright kid, and I don't know, I have faith in him. But I do hear what you're saying, though, that like that could come back to bite him a little bit.
I'm not even saying it will. I was more so just asking. It's something that I've thought about a lot. Like if you are on one of those bottom teams and you're a goalie, like, Rick DiPietro was drafted number 1 overall by the Islanders, and, they got shelled. He didn't. It's just it feels like it's so much better when you're Andre Vasilevsky coming into a team, not even starting. You got Ben Bishop in front of you. This team is kind of going close to the Stanley Cup every year. Then you just shift your way in and you're on an incredible team. I feel like it makes it so much easier for you, based on kind of the circumstance you're dropped into. Not too dissimilar from quarterbacks. Yeah. Not too dissimilar from some quarterback getting Caleb dropped Williams in Jacksonville and just getting destroyed versus Lamar getting drafted into that Ravens organization and Joe Flacco was starting and they were already a good team and they never had a bad team while he was there. It just makes things a lot easier. Same thing with Mahomes. They were a team that was going to the playoffs every single year. There's something to that, I think.
There is, but I mean, look, it's obviously a big change of scenery for him, going from Florida behind Bob to like being the starter on the second worst team in the league. But you gotta assume he's like aware of that and like, hey, this next year or two might be, not ideal for the stats and whatnot. But I don't know. I have faith that he's gonna figure it out and be one of the best goalies in the world. I think he absolutely has potential to be that.
Yep.
But yeah. So you kind of just shit on our dreams of Mitch Marner a bit. We've talked about on the show, like we've spent the past 3-4 years drafting all this super good young talent, but we kind of need some like players in their prime that are ready to win now. And we've on the show have constantly brought up Mitch Marner as being like the best option right now. How do you think the Blackhawks, what moves do you think the Blackhawks should make to be able to like make that big step and make that big jump? And
I didn't shit on Mitch Marner. I said no player in the NHL is going to add 15 wins to a team. I mean, it's just not going to. You can bring in Nikita Kucherov, who's as good as that. I mean, you're talking about a guy who almost leads the NHL in points every single year, more than Marner. He's not going to give you 15 wins. It's just not. It's not the way it works. Unfortunately, getting somebody like Marner will obviously his skill set would be great to play with somebody like Bedard. I mean, it's he right now plays with somebody with a vicious shot who has scored 60 goals. And Mitch Marner, as you've probably heard on some of my videos, why I always take him for an assist, because he plays with a natural shooter and he's a pass first, pass second. Okay, fine, I'll have to shoot it now type of guy. And that's the kind of guy that would work very well with Bedard. One thing you always got to ask yourself, if you sign a guy like that to the absolute max, you guys are Chicago Blackhawks fans. You remember signing like to try to, you drafted those players, you drafted Kane, you drafted Taves. So let's sign Brian Campbell to this big contract. Let's sign Jose. So yeah, it feels good at the time. Then when all those players who you drafted, who you would have loved to keep, you can't, because at the beginning of this whole thing, you just dropped fat stacks of money on veterans. Now, there goes Dustin Byfuglien, there goes Nick Leddy, there goes, first was it Brandon Saad, then you traded back for Saad, had to get rid of Panarin. You lost so many good players. I even remember talking about this at the time. I was saying, like, the NHL needs to implement a rule where if you drafted a player, 70% of his money counts towards the cap. That way, teams who drafted great teams are rewarded. So you can keep your players. The fact that they had to let all those players go while they were continually winning, I thought was, nonsense. Or not nonsense, but just unfair. Like, they drafted the good players. They didn't miss with the draft picks, and now they immediately have to let them go. I didn't like that for the Blackhawks.
No, we didn't like it either. But that was literally all because of one man named Stan Bowman, who just
You don't want to trust that man with contract negotiations.
Just took what was one of the best teams of the past couple decades assembled, and he just absolutely destroyed it. But no, I just so then what are you suggesting we do though? Like, do we moneyball it? It's like, we don't want
No,
this
I'm
team.
not against that. I'm just saying that's one move. They're like, one player is not going to fix the team.
Yeah.
That you clearly need somebody to work alongside Connor Bedard, and somebody like him I would absolutely do before somebody like, he already re-signed, but I don't know what you guys were saying about Rantanen. I would have, in the playoffs, a guy like Mikko Rantanen can probably produce more because his body type and he's a bigger guy, and that's probably better for the playoffs. But in totality, for the regular season and for the type of star that you guys have, Mitch Marner would probably be a better fit. And you do things one step at a time. Okay, that kind of solidifies some line one. Yeah, obviously, one line is not really going to do anything for you. All right, what kind of depth do you guys have? Do you have faith in like Nazar to actually be a second line player? Kind of like, Barzal was the top center for the Isles. Brock Nelson was popping in 30 goals every single year as the second center. Like, that's a proper second line center. When the Avs had Nazem Kadri, they've been trying to fill that void for literally 3 years now. So like, you really, if you want to be a true contending team, you can't be deficient in most of these areas. Eventually, at some point, whether it's second round, third round, it will ultimately catch up with you. So you just kind of got to take things one step at a time. On defense, how are you guys looking defensively?
Amazing.
From 1 through 6?
Yeah.
Andy, what do you make of the playoffs right now, heading into it? Like, what are you watching? What is like a couple of storylines maybe that you're really interested in? Like, what
to me, there's always a scam division every single year, scam division. And like, you could speak poorly of them, but I always used to pray the Isles would get the scam route. Like, I don't, who am I? I don't care. Oh, but you beat the Flyers and I don't give a rat's ass. We're in the cup conference, the conference finals, and we were one win away from playing the Montreal Canadiens for the Stanley Cup in that kind of COVID year where they shifted the divisions. I don't care how we got there. Give me the scam side of the bracket. And that Metro side, look at this. You have a Washington Capitals team who's about to be the number 1 seed. A Washington Capitals team so good that they are like Carolina's minus 190 favorites against them on this Wednesday slate. So that's the 1 seed. And also in that Metro division. You have the Devils down there as the 3 seed who don't have Jack Hughes. They're the roller hockey Devils, as I've called them for years. They're not even getting good goaltending. They're just an easy one and done. Then you have Carolina, who's pretty good every single year.
Not good
but
enough.
They're limited options. I mean, I always believe if you have a strong defensive team, you are good enough to win it. Like you can, I do think they're good enough to win it, which is why like they're one of the favorites to come out of the East. I did. I mean, think about they have this team that you're currently looking at, plus Jake Ensel, plus Teravainen. They had Nason. Like they had a stacked team, and they lost. In a series that they outplayed their opposition. And then the year before that, they were in the conference finals and they got swept in 4 one-goal games. When you're that close, you're not far off. Like when you're losing in game 6 in round 2, or you're losing in the conference finals and you're there every single year and you're putting up 100 points, there's no way you can't be considered one of the teams to come out of it, especially considering Devils in round 1, who they waxed in 5, and then an inexperienced Capitals team who they're minus 190 favorites against. So people might pick the Capitals, but to me, the easiest pick to just go to the conference final without having to worry too much about who they're playing is the Canes. The hardest team they could possibly play is a team who got swept by the New York Rangers last year and is just in the midst of an outlier year. And come playoffs, you see a lot of those tend to end pretty quickly. Time will tell. So that's one thing. And then the polar opposite of that would be what you're seeing going out west. I truly believe the Kings can go into the Metro and easily come out of it. I think they could win the first series in 5, second series, even against a team like Carolina in 6, just because they match up so well against a team like Carolina, the way they play. Yet nobody is going to pick them to come out of round 1 against the Edmonton Oilers, who have beat them 3 straight postseasons in the first round. So you have a team who I think would waltz to the conference finals in the Metro, who are most likely going to be out for the 4th straight year in the first round simply because of the awful matchup. And, whether you guys want to talk about the way they seed it, that's a separate argument. You have 3 potential Stanley Cup winners in that division. And if that's not enough, you have 3 potential Stanley Cup winners in the other division in the West. The Avs, the Stars, and the Jets, who I just noticed the Jets aren't in first anymore. I just saw today that it was I think it's still the Jets.
It's still the Jets in the West. Yeah, they have 106 points.
And then Dallas is maybe just 2 behind now?
4 behind. But Winnipeg, I think Winnipeg played yesterday, right?
And they lost.
Dallas has a game in hand. So they're 4 behind, but have a game in hand. You have
Dallas and Winnipeg 1 and 2 going for like almost a President's Trophy. They're 2 cup teams. Obviously, Colorado just went on before they lost 2 in a row. They went on an 11-0 run since the trade deadline, something crazy. They're obviously capable of winning a Stanley Cup. They did it 2.5, 3 years ago. All these teams are just shoved in the West without even talking about the Oilers getting McDavid back. It's pretty insane. The Knights won 2 years ago, Avs 3 years ago. There's so many potential Stanley Cup winners shoved on the West. And then you got a nightmare division in the East. Everything but the Metro is a nightmare. Yeah. There's going to be a team who's going to have to beat, the Lightning and Panthers. If you're Toronto, unless you can win the division, you're going to have to play the Lightning and Panthers back to back. And then whoever comes out, I mean, it's a murderer's row in almost every division other than the scam Metro. So I think that's kind of the what I take from the playoffs, just kind of on a macro level. But as far as predictions, that's going to be one funny time trying to fill out those brackets, trying to discern who's going to win between Dallas and Winnipeg. It's just, that's going to be real tough.
So in regards to predictions, who's your favorite this year, if you had to pick one?
If this McDavid thing wasn't up in the air, usually, I mean, you see this so many times. Colorado just almost, they just, and then they lost conference final, and then they came back and finally they just got over that hump. You see with Florida, grueling run to the Stanley Cup. They lose to the Knights, and they come back with that renewed vigor. They get to the Cup again. They win the Cup. I mean, these Oilers, conference final, second round, Cup final, Game 7. I just don't. This health thing. you know, you have to go through a grueling 4-round process. And if McDavid's not going to be 100%, but prior to that, if they came out of the Four Nations and were 100% healthy, I would kind of tip the scales toward them because they would be playing the Kings in the first round, who they've been able to eliminate 3 straight years. And then that tough series after that would be the Knights, you know, who they lost to 2 years ago. But just, you got to think, at least have one manageable round.
Yeah, it's more about the route.
Because a team like the Avs are going to have to beat Dallas on the road, who they lost to last year in 6. Or, I believe 6. And then they're going to have to play Winnipeg. And then probably a team like the Oilers, and then, you know, a team like the Panthers or whoever. That's just a nightmare. So if you can just chop one of those off, at least it gives you somewhat of an easier road. Like the Oilers, let's be honest, they had the Kings last year, and they had the Vancouver Canucks after that. Yeah. And then they had the Stars, who just faced that murderer's row like we talked about. You know, they had to play Vegas and a tough 7-game series. Then they had to play Colorado. Now all of a sudden you're facing an Edmonton team who just, you know, played a 5-game series and then a 7-game series, and they ran out of steam towards the end of that series. Like Dallas got up 2-1 and they just looked slow the rest of the series.
You've been critical about Winnipeg. Are they a scam this year, or do you believe in them to do something in the postseason? Because I mean, talk about a team with an easier route. Like, I mean, they're going to be playing Minnesota right now in the first round. Like,
well, they're going to have to hold it. I feel really bad for so I criticized Winnipeg last year for sure because they did something it's like I get it. You want to do it, right? You're a team like Winnipeg. You're kind of tops in the division. You're right there fighting for it. This is last season I'm talking about. And what do? Because you don't have this star-laden lineup, you fall for what most fans think you should do. You go get Monahan. You go get Toffoli. When you're a team that won the Jennings Trophy for allowing the fewest goals of all teams in the NHL. You're a team who wins 2-1, 3-1. So why now, when the games are most important, are you going to shift philosophies and try to score more with new lines and new power plays with Toffoli? So that came back to bite them. Colorado waxed them in the playoffs. They were scoring 5 goals at a time because you have some forwards who are more of a defensive liability that weren't there 80% of the season and truly know the ins and outs of how your team plays. So they took my advice this year, went and got nobody other than like Tanev, somebody who will seamlessly fit into that system. And then just like a classic screw job, they did it the right way. And then the worst possible thing for a team who's going to win defensively to happen is have one of your main offensive contributors go down for the season and longer, which is probably what happened with Gabe Vilardi. They were a top 3 power play in the NHL. Now all of a sudden, no longer there. So that top 3 power play to me is now, you know, we're going to see how good they are. But like last night, I think was a good example. They had a couple power plays, weren't able to do anything, and they were down, you know, 1 goal or 2 goals in that game. And unfortunately, this isn't their fault. They lost Gabe Vilardi at the worst time possible because they're going to have to continue to win these low scoring games. But their top line was as sure as they come. They had great chemistry. They've been playing together for a year and a half. And Vilardi, Scheifele, Connor, now they're going to have to kind of rejigger it if it doesn't happen to work with Iafallo. And that, to me, if there's an undoing this year, it's not going to be they're giving up 5 a game and all of a sudden it's just a completely different team. It's maybe they're going to be on the wrong side of a game, a low-scoring game, just because there wasn't enough offense. I mean, that when you have like 4 solid offensive contributors or forwards, maybe like 4.5, you lose one of those.
Yeah.
And that's tough, man. They have 2 guys now, Ehlers, and if you want to consider Perfetti. After that, these are journeymen, Niederreiter, Nemestikov. It's going to have to all be done defensively. So that's the only reason. But I don't have any criticisms of them this year. They did it the right way. They're a team. Okay. I always love people like who blame teams for playing defensive, like they did this with the Islanders with Trotz. Okay, you rat bastards. So you want to laugh at us as Tavares chooses not to stay with us, so we don't have the tools. The Islanders were one of the top offenses in the NHL, didn't make the playoffs. You had no problem with that. Then Tavares chooses Toronto. You laugh at us. Nobody wants to come to Long Island. So we get a defensive coach, and we try to make the best with what we have. And then we start winning. What the boring? Nobody wants. No. It's your fault. Okay, you want to laugh as Tavares is leaving? Then don't be pissed off when we do things in a defensive fashion. And that's exactly what Winnipeg has had to do. No free agents want to go there. People put them on the no trade list. So you want to do that? Then we're going to win in a boring fashion simply because it's the only way that we can win. Like, we're playing with one arm tied behind our back. And there's a weird part of me that kind of roots for Winnipeg for that exact reason.
Fair enough.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. And also, it's like you'd rather win than, like, who cares if you're doing it in like a boring fashion, right? Like, it's better to win than to just be, not making the playoffs. When I watch your channel and your videos and stuff, it feels like you have a broader understanding of like each individual team than like most analysts, podcasters, YouTubers that I watch do. Are you posted up in the Batcave every single day with like 50 monitors watching every single game from every single slate? Are you on Twitter, like following like all these insights? Like, how do you stay up to date? Like, I guess it's kind of a personal question too, because like I want to know, like, as I do the show, like, how do I level up my game in that, like, knowing everything
I can give you
that's going on?
I can give you some advice in terms of if you want to consume more than one game at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you have some variety of ESPN Plus so you can watch the games.
Yes.
Well, if you have either an Xbox or an Apple TV, they're the only two devices that have the multicast feature. You can actually watch up to 4 games at the same time only on those two devices. So many times that's what I do on a big
slate.
Game night, but I'm not sitting there with a monocle like, oh my God, they're right. It's not crazy like that where I'm truly, no, hold on, they got a lefty on the power play. Let's rewind it. Let's watch that whole 2 minutes. I need to reevaluate what they're doing.
Feels like it sometimes.
But I don't know. Maybe I can just absorb it very quickly. Like, for example, the New York Rangers power play. I've seen the power play operate for 5 years. It's the same group of 5. So if they take somebody off, like, I already know how if they take Zibanejad off, there goes the one timer. It's like, I don't even need to watch that. People ask me all the time, oh my God, how do you know all this stuff? You have to look up all the stuff for the next day. When you're paying attention constantly, most of the stuff just rolls over. Like, I don't even know who's playing tomorrow. I don't know who's playing tomorrow, but I can tell you a bunch of stuff about those teams if you bring up a game for tomorrow simply based on
what you've already
when
known.
you're doing the videos. When you're doing the videos, everything I talked about is now, in my head, and I'll have that for future videos. It's not like each video I'm down there, just trying to dig up all sorts of stats and information. It just kind of rolls over, and then I guess the knowledge gets accumulated, but it's not. I do watch a bunch of the games. I mean, if you think about it, I have to do these videos. I have everybody on the Patreon. If you just like lie, it doesn't look good, and it will be right out there in the open for anybody who does know what they're talking about. So it's not as time consuming as you would think if you're a hockey fan. Like, to me, I mean, how is it any different than me in college sitting around with my friends? We would watch games every night on like center ice package. So there's nothing crazy. I don't have put on my Google glasses and I'm just getting, stuff fed to me like on the inside. No, it's not like that.
All right. Fair enough. Do you ever find yourself overthinking picks and bets? Like, I bet a lot, right? And I'm always trying to fade the public. Like, I'm never trying to be, as you would say, a Dan. But I think I take it too seriously to where like during football season, like if it's a primetime game, I'm going on like the Action app and seeing who people are betting on less, and I'm taking that side. Do you like have to find a balance of like?
God, have you ever seen Good Will Hunting?
Yes, of course.
That's a great movie.
I really feel like I'm going to be at that part. Like, and by next year, you'll be telling me how so. It's like you're at that part of the journey where it's like, no, it's not a bad thing. Fading the public is a go to 10 people at the bar. Those people are just all losing. So naturally bet the opposite of what they're going to do. But, it's usually not as cut and dry. Also, when you look at some of that, you also have to know if 10 people are betting on a game and 8 people are taking one side, but the 9th person is betting 5 times as much of all of them, and it's on the other side, then who's really taking what? You know what I'm saying? So like you could have the percentage of money on one side and then just the percentage of clicks on the other side. So you always kind of got to know. But as far as that being your North Star, to me, that's just like an added, and I got good news for you, by the way. Everybody likes the other side of it. Like, all right, good. That's a nice little final icing on the cake for me. The fortunate part about the NHL, from what I've noticed through the years, when it comes to just straight up rats, like, oh my God. You already know that. I mean, you guys are Blackhawks fans.
Yeah.
Look at some of your wins this year. I think you've beaten Colorado twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
We stomped
It's just
Dallas,
human nature. Do any of you play NHL?
Oh yeah.
I used to. I don't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, no, I've been retired for a long time.
Oh,
but
so yes.
I don't know. Were you really good at one point?
I mean, compared to
even 1 year, was there one game?
Yeah, pretty solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew when your friend who isn't good or doesn't even play a lot, you do this half-ass version of the game when you play him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's barbecue chicken.
Keep it close.
That's what the Avalanche, like that's a part of. It's not like, oh my God, it's rigged. It's rigged. No, it's hard to get it up for a game like that when you're the Avalanche. It really is. I mean, the Avalanche are playing the Blackhawks tonight, and they've lost 2 in a row. Maybe that could be the only motivation, but they're kind of cemented into that seed. So would I be surprised if they lost tonight? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all, because it's not like they've already kind of fell too far. There's really nowhere for them to go. So if anything, it's time for them to just kind of experiment and tinker with things in case they need to like switch things up on the fly come playoff time. But as Blackhawks fans, you guys should know in the NHL, as I always say in the videos, like, we're surprised if a 1-in-10 team in the NFL beats the Eagles. I mean, they're leading off SportsCenter with it. What's wrong with the Eagles? In the NHL, it happens 3 times a night. Every single night, you have the worst teams. The 1-in-10 version of NFL teams are thoroughly beating the best teams. Sometimes you get like full waxings, 5-0. That's just the way things work.
That's why you love taking money lines so much in the NHL, right?
So when your thing, like when you said, what are you looking at? When you're going to place these bets, your big thing is that you like betting against what regular people like to bet, or against
generally
what the public likes to bet.
Like not always, but yes. Like if I see a team, like even if I'm gonna take a money line in the NHL, and it's like, I remember one that got me this year was Ottawa was like on a super hot streak earlier in the year, and they were going to Nashville. And they were playing in Nashville, but Nashville was like -125. I'm like, that is the stinkiest line I've ever seen.
Yes.
I'm taking Nashville. Yeah. Ottawa won like 4-2. It was like
no. I know, but I do want to say, you do not change that thought process. Yes, once in a while, I always look at it like this perfect pH balance. Like they know, oh shit, that kid on that show, he knows kind of what we're doing. He knows what we're doing. We better throw an actual road favorite, easy win. Everyone thinks they're going to win, just to throw his mind off so he gets off this concept. That's kind of like, I would encourage you not to get away from that. Do not stop thinking like that. Have something I call those minesweeper games. Yeah. Like if you don't have the ball, I don't have the balls many times to bet that Nashville, because I can tell you 50 things I'd rather bet in that game. I know. But my problem is, I understand the allure, even though you probably know, especially if you've been on the Patreon, you know how to make money in the NHL.
Yeah.
And it's not by clicking on the front screen bets. It's as simple. I mean, that's the case for every single sport. But the problem is, that's what the majority of people want. So my biggest issue is, how do I try to deliver what's good for people opposed to what they want? It's like trying to get the United States of America to diet. there's no way they're going to do it. They just want to keep eating themselves to whatever. And I'm fine with that, but just don't get angry at me when I've presented you the healthy meals and you just keep wanting to decline. You said the Tampa was going to win. No, I said, yeah, sure. You want to eat candy? This one might be the best, but you're still going to be fat in the end. It's just kind of, it's tough because I know people want those and I'll do the best that I can. But when you factor in prices, how often do you see something and say, oh, great value? When you see something like I saw Tampa Bay last night, they were in a great spot to just crush the Islanders. So then I have to go digging like, okay, well, nobody wants to pay minus like, 200. Yeah. Nobody wants to put up 200. So now what can I do? All right, so then I'll go to the Islanders up. All right, if Vasilevsky's playing, we can take the Isles for under 2.5 goals, or we can take Tampa to win with a Braden point. But can people even do that? Sometimes I have the lowest bar and expectations of people. I truly believe that if I tell them to click on the Lightning to win, and this guy called Jake Gensel to get a point in that game, they're like, wait, what? What is that? No, I don't understand all this. So my bar for your average person is very low, and that's a me problem. No. That's just, unfortunately, that's just kind of the way I am. My toughest part is figuring out what money lines I can give people. A night like tonight, like I'm giving the Florida Panthers. Why? Because they're the Stanley Cup champs at a plus, it was 108 when I saw it. It's a good value. Am I going to be shocked if they lose? 0%. I mean, 0%. Yeah. So it's tough when people are going to hold you to those when I'm not going to bet $1 on it, but I got to give it out because I know they want it.
Do you do that a lot? Do you give out bets that you're like, I'm not going to take it, but I need to give some like pizzeria, just basic.
Oh, 100%. And I will say, I go on, yeah, like tonight, I like the Florida Panthers to win, despite the fact I will have a grand total of 0 U.S. currency on it. But if you want to do it, that's the team that I would pick. So I'm open and honest about it. But I have a lot of money. If you've been on that Patreon, you see the sheets. Yeah. I have a lot of money on the. Okay, if I think Florida's going to win, you want to know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to take Barkov and Reinhart for a point. I'm going to take Sam Miskevich and Bennett for a point, and it's going to pay me more than plus 107 for a Panthers win. But like I said, that will grow my channel and grow my videos at a way slower rate than coming in and say, I like this team to win. I like this over. And it's an unfortunate truth, and it's something that I try to give the right balance of smart picks and the picks that people want. But, what can you do?
I'm banned on DraftKings because I entered my social security number in wrong like 3 years ago, and they think I'm like a flight risk. And we don't have Bet365, so I can't do any of the line combos. So that's why I'm always just bashing my head with the NHL.
So what I use FanDuel. What state
we're in Illinois, and so I got banned. I don't know if Bet365 is banned, but I tried to log in, and they also perma-banned me when I tried logging in. So I only have.
Who are you? I'm gonna look your name up. You've done some shit in the past.
My name's Lee Grossman. I've not committed any crimes or anything too major. But
really not wanted for anything? That's surprising.
No, I know.
Wait a minute. Is Bet365 legal there? It is.
It maybe I'm banned. I'll show you on my phone.
All right. Yeah. Hey. I'm just gonna be myself. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna allow me to be myself. I'm this way with my friends. Mm-hmm. So just don't get all offended and upset.
No, I'm not.
The fact that you just give me this, which is no, it may be. How the fuck? I'm sorry. How the F do you not know? It takes one actual Google search to definitively know if it's legal in your state. So I refuse to believe you've exhausted all options to know. How about these guys sitting right next to you? How about you give Tassos line combo advice, and he makes some line combo bets?
They don't. Andy, I can't just be like, hey, Tassos, dude, this guy, Andy, that I watch on YouTube, he's made this spreadsheet of line combos where, dude, all we need to do is put $10 on every single one of these plays. Yeah, I know there's 45 plays, and so we're going to need $450 to do. It's hard to do with someone else. It's hard to, rope somebody else into that. But yeah, I'm banned.
To be fair, he never asked.
Yeah.
Does Tassos like hockey?
He does. He does.
You're acting like you're asking my great-grandfather to hey, Hey, Grandpa, this guy is Jake Gensel, and what? You're talking about a guy who likes hockey. His parents, he's going to be proud to look up those line combos and put them in. And I can assure you, when he tastes the profits of every single month, 0 losing months, like this is what I don't understand. Hey, man, we got to put in 40 bets. How much are we going to win? Oh, just thousands. Like, well, I don't understand.
It's hard. It's hard.
A lot of people's logic.
Maybe now he'll be like in on it. Maybe you'll agree we need to like open a Bet365 account together and just do these line combos.
He's a Chicago fan? He's a Chicago fan?
He's a Maple Leafs fan, so it hurt him a little bit when you said you're taking Florida money line tonight. But
a little bit.
But
no,
yeah,
but not because I truly. It's just because you're getting the Cup champs plus 107.
Of course, spot.
Tassos, so you're familiar though. You talk about the Blackhawks with these guys all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. If I text you, say, hey, do me a favor, man. I'm busy, but I like this bet. You should take it. Teuvo Teravainen for a point tonight. And Tyler Bertuzzi for a point tonight. Would you be so flabbergasted as a guy who has a podcast operation? Wait, what? I need to take Teravainen for a point and Bertuzzi for a point? Or would you think you'd be able to do that?
I think we'd be able to swing it. Yeah.
Andy, the problem comes when I'm trying to get him to take Alex Killorn and Frank Vetrano. All right. You know exactly where the fucking problems come. So don't fucking.
I mean, look, all I know is there are solutions to your problems. I'm sure of it because I may or may have not been in your shoes many different times throughout the course of my life. The question is, do we arrive at a solution? And currently you haven't yet, but I have a lot of faith in you.
I'll figure it out. Thank you so much. I've been yapping to you for 45 minutes or whatever this has been. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
I will continue to work with Lee. I will continue to work with Lee on the creative, critical thinking and problem solving skills. Hopefully we can.
It is like I'm dealing with my grandpa. Like when me and Tasso sit down next to each other, I'm like, what are you even? Yeah. So we do have our.
Are you guys? Are you guys Gen Z-ish? Like, are you, is that approximate?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Unfortunately. Yeah, 22.
It's a weird, there's a weird thing going on where you guys should be the most technologically inclined, yet I have to explain to my brother how to do a bunch of things technologically. I don't understand how that possibly works.
Oh my God.
But like I said, I got faith in all you guys. Now you're doing a good job. I can already tell you have a good dynamic. So keep doing what you're doing. The only problem is you got to wait for the Blackhawks to get good, and then I'm sure your numbers will all start to ramp up. You're doing the Lord's work though. Like I saw some guy, I don't know why it was suggested to me. Some guy like did an Islanders post game, like a 30-minute post game. I'm like, what was he talking about on there? I was like, I can't even click. I don't want them to think I want to watch more of this, but congrats to whoever that guy is who could talk about that much nothing for 35 to 40 minutes. It really should have just been 2 sentences. Wow, this team looks real bad. No playoffs.
You have no idea.
See you next year. Dink.
You have no idea.
Andy, you're one of the best. Thanks again for doing this. Really appreciate you stopping by.
No problem.
You're welcome anytime. Thanks again, though.
Shout out to DeMario Douglas too.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy you enjoy that as well for sure. Thank you guys so much for supporting my stuff. Like, yeah, you're not bringing in John Butchergross here. I have a channel that's trying to grow probably just like your stuff. So I really do appreciate you guys supporting the show, watching, bring me on here. Thank you.
Absolutely, Andy. Thank you.
That was Andy Francess. Go check out his YouTube channel. Really is fun. He basically just spent an hour with us. So that was really great.
I couldn't stop. I realized like before I asked like my last 2 questions, I was like, I've been talking to this guy for way too long. I just took up half of his day. But yeah, I mean, if you bet, like people are always in chat, like ask Lee, what are the plays today? Watch Andy Francess. Andy Francess tells you what the plays are. And he's a lot better than I am at it. So yeah, shout out to Andy. That was awesome. We've got a snake draft to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's draft time. It's most definitely draft time. So did we get a consensus from the chat? Maybe Raven could tell us if we got a consensus from the chat of are we doing all time or are we doing retired players?
If we include my vote, it's retired. If we don't include my vote, we're still tied.
Oh. So are we?
Oh boy,
dude, I do not care.
Just
Like,
flip a coin.
no,
Flip a
let's
coin.
just do.
Here, I can grab a coin.
Justin, do you either of you feel really strongly one way or the other? Like, if you do,
I don't care. Just do one.
Somebody's got to pick.
All right. Someone said retired.
all
so
right,
it's
retired.
All right, retired.
All right, just retired players.
Gosh, I gotta like lock in for this now. I'm gonna get shit on.
Well, this is interesting because like there are some players who are no longer active, no longer playing, but they're not technically retired. So do those players count?
Yes, you can use Shea Weber if you want.
If Shea Weber is on your list, then yes.
I was mostly thinking of well, I'm not gonna say what I was thinking of, but anyway, all right.
But it would have to be like that. Like, I don't know that Jonathan Taze counts. If that's who you're thinking, because he's trying to play.
He hasn't played for 2 years though, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He wants to play though, right?
Yeah, well, that's talk, right? Yeah.
I just got a text from Andy saying that Alex Killorn line was solid.
Yeah, I'm not a big betting guy. Maybe I gotta start getting into it there.
Dude,
I think that would be the way.
We didn't even talk about it, but basically he's come up with this this betting strategy where he just does line combinations every single night for guys that play on the same line together in the same power play unit. So if a guy's on the second line with the same guy that he's on the second power play unit with, he parlays to them together for a point. And the way it makes so much money is even if most of them miss, if the second liners on the Anaheim Ducks and the second liners on the San Jose Sharks both hit, that's like a plus 500 bet that you're hitting. And so it's making up for those other 8 losses that you have. So it is super solid. I just can't do it because I'm fucking locked out on Bet365 in DraftKings. And I knew he was going to shit on me for saying that. But
creative solutions to difficult problems. Okay, you guys know the drill. Raven, can you text Tim Tebow and pick a number between 1 and 100, and then we will all send you a number to determine team order. You really can't get nobody. Well, if Justin gets caught in the second one again, that'd be.
I swear to God, that happens again, I'm gonna lose it every single time.
I'm gonna
pick a better number. No, I'm just kidding.
It's random, man. It's chance.
You're done.
All right.
You both are done.
All right. God, this is painful. We'll go last to first this time.
Okay.
It is going to be Lee last.
Okay.
All right. I'm good with that.
It's sadly going to be Justin second.
Are you fucking kidding me?
My number was 34. Justin was 17. Tassos 21. Lee 71.
So I was closest. All right.
You can't make this up, man.
I'm gonna go really easy with this one. Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue that one. All right, well, I will go with Mario Lemieux, number 2.
Good pick. Good pick.
I get 2.
You do get 2 picks.
I've got like lists here, but they're not like organized at all, and it's really, really upsetting me.
Well, that's your problem, bud.
Yeah, that does sound like your problem a little bit.
Maybe you should have been prepared. You were too worried about your betting lines.
All right, I'm gonna go with Bobby Orr and Nick Lidstrom.
Oh, taking the D. Ooh, smart strat.
Hey, yo.
All right. Well, I picked Mario Lemieux. These players got some good chemistry there. Give me Jaromir Jagr.
Okay, give me 1 second. Jaromir Jagr is your pick.
That's right. Jagr. Mr. Longevity. Still playing hockey, by the way. I believe he's playing in the Czech leagues, but he's retired from NHL, so yeah.
Okay, my pick is Austin Matthews. No, I'm just kidding.
So stupid.
Okay. This is tricky. Lee really did something there. He thought he was doing something. He thought he was doing something. Oh. I'm going to do kind of what Lee did. I'm going to go Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic.
Ooh.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Um, this is probably something I could save, but like, yeah, we haven't picked a goalie yet. I'm gonna start the goalie conversation. I'm gonna pick Dominik Hasek.
Mm.
I have
Yeah.
two. Has Gordie Howe been taken?
No.
No.
I'm gonna take Gordie Howe and Mark Messier.
Ooh. Yeah, there you go. Well, I haven't taken a defenseman yet, so I probably got to start that. Give me the all-time leader in defenseman scoring, Ray Bork.
Okay, give me a second. Lee, what were your picks again? Gordie Howe.
Gordie Howe and Mess.
And Mark Messier. And then Justin's pick was Ray Bork.
That's right.
Okay. Good picks. Good picks. I am going to take Paul Coffey and Patrick Waugh.
Mm.
Ooh, good combo there. Has Joe Sakic been taken?
I did take Joe Sakic, yes.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, I thought you did. All right, I will take Teemu Solani. Yeah, to
Cool
pair with
pick.
Jaromir Jagr. Yeah. All-time leader in rookie goals, 76. Yeah.
Okay. Lee?
I'm gonna go with Ovi and Sid. Have they both been taken?
We're doing retired, brother.
Oh my god.
What?
Ovi and Sid. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was like, how the fuck have these? I'm like,
Yeah.
how is Solani going before these guys? Boy, they. I should get a goalie. Has Patrick Waugh been taken?
Yep.
Yes.
I did. Both of you trying to step in on my picks here, Joe Sakic and Patrick Waugh.
And Hasek's been taken.
Yep.
Okay. Has Mike Bossy been taken?
No.
I'll take Mike Bossy. I'll take Martin Brodeur.
I thought you were gonna sleep over him.
I imagine Coffey's been taken.
I did take
Yeah,
Paul. I did
okay,
take Paul
yeah.
Coffey.
Just confirming here. All right, I probably need another defenseman here. I know Lidstrom's been taken by Lee. Let's see. I will go with. How about give me Scott Stevens? That might be an off the board one, but it's a nice tough guy back there.
Might be a
Like
little
open-
early.
Yeah, those open ice hits. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for there. Physicality on the D. Yeah,
Scott Stevens. All right.
yeah
I have
it's
two
probably early,
picks.
but yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Man, I think I'm just gonna have a really good back end. I'm gonna go Chris Chelios and Scott Niedermeyer.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, Stevens is early. I think Niedermeyer is too. Yeah, I think that's around the same. Yeah.
Niedermeyer was a way better player than Stevens.
That's debatable.
No way, dude.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I
Well,
don't
you
think
took
so at all.
You took Niedermeyer. I will take. Well, actually, it's probably early to take him, but I was thinking about him. Well, let's see. Let me look here. Give me a second. I don't like taking long, but no, give me Chris Pronger. Yeah, there we go.
That's a good pick.
That's because they were paired together a lot, right? So now we got. Yeah, I like this decor building. Okay, yeah.
All right, Lee, back to you.
I'm gonna go with Peter Forsberg and Sergei Fedorov.
Oh, dude.
Damn. Those are big ones right there to take off the board. Ooh, all right. Probably need another forward here. I was thinking about rounding out the goaltending, but we could probably save that one. maybe make that the last pick. Well, he's not going to be the highest scoring American forever, but he's going to have that for about another season and a half here. Well, probably less than that. Give me Mike Modano.
Damn, that was going to be my next pick.
Yeah. He's not going to have that record too much longer. Yeah. Let's see. Kane is, what is he? He's like 38 away. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just erasing some names off my big board here. Okay. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Ron Francis and Jerome McGinley.
Damn, how those two not been taken? Okay. All right. Then I will go with, let's see. This is tough because you just want to nail every one of these picks. You can't leave anything off the table here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will go with, let's see. I will come to my decision quickly here. Oh, I just had a loading issue. How about has Yari Curry been taken?
Yari Curry
Actually,
is
you know what?
not. Oh,
Brett Hall.
Brett Hall.
Brett Hall.
Okay.
Brett Hall. Yeah. Yep. Change my mind.
All right, Leesky, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with Duncan Keith and Zdeno Chara.
Damn.
Oh man. I thought about Keith. I was in between him and Pronger. It's a good one. Should I stick with the D here? Fill out the 4 group here. This is hard, man. Has Chara been taken?
He just took him.
Oh, well, you did? Not bad. Yeah, you took Keith and Chara. All right. Oh, this is so hard, man. Let's see. Has Brian Leach been taken?
Brian Leach has not been taken.
Give me Brian Leach.
Looking at him.
That was my next pick.
That was going to be the next defenseman off the board for sure.
All right.
Okay. Okay, give me Matt Sundin and Yari Curry.
Oof. Yeah, I left Curry on the table just about for you. I was in between him and Brett Hall. All right. I probably need another forward here. This might be a bit early for him, but I'm going to screw Lee over because I figured this is a guy he would want. Give me Keith to Chuck.
Maybe a bit early.
Yeah, the father of Matthew and Brady there.
Has Doug Harvey been taken?
No, Doug Harvey has not been taken.
All right, I'm going to take Doug Harvey and Eddie Shore.
Doug Harvey and Eddie Shore
to round out my defensive group.
He's building quite the legendary back end.
Are you throwing this right now?
Oh.
Yeah, see those guys.
I'm on Reddit looking at all these lists of top defensemen. Nobody has Doug Harvey outside of like top 4.
Okay, I don't have Doug Harvey on my top 20 big board. Okay, maybe I don't know puck.
Yeah,
maybe I don't know puck. That's fine.
Maybe that's the case here.
All right. Doug Harvey.
Has the Rocket been taken? Maurice Richard?
No, he has not.
Give me the Rocket. Yeah, 50 goals in 50 games. The Rocket Richard. Good movie, The Rocket, if you haven't seen it.
Okay, I'm going to go Al McInnes and Phil Housley.
Damn. Oh, those guys still on the table here. All right. Has Guy Lafleur been taken?
No.
No, give me Guy Lafleur. Let's just keep the Habs thing going.
That's a good pick. All right, Lee.
Has Phil Esposito been taken?
No.
I'm going to take Phil Esposito. Has Bobby Hull been taken?
Bobby Hull?
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to take Bobby Hull too.
There's some good players available still.
Well, I think there's one guy who hasn't been taken who's pretty recent there. Is Joe Thornton been taken?
Joe Thornton has not been taken. He was
All right. Give me Joe Thornton.
He was at the top of my big board of remaining players.
I think he's the last guy in terms of like the highest producer left, besides Crosby and Ovi, obviously aren't available for this. Yeah.
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 So I have 2 picks. I am going to go. Oh, Lee took Mike Bossy. This might be a crazy 2 picks. I don't really care. Henrik and Daniel Sedin.
Oh, that's good. I actually like that. That's cool. Got some chemistry there too. Fair enough. All right. There used to is Larry Robertson, has he been taken?
Larry Robinson?
Yeah.
No.
Give me Larry Robertson. I'm keeping the Habs theme going. He's a good defenseman. Yeah.
Larry Robinson.
Yeah.
You were saying Robertson.
Oh, Robertson, was I? Maybe.
He's the other brother.
Nick.
He's
I was thinking of Jason Robertson.
He's their grandpa. Larry Robinson.
There you go.
Lee, back to you.
Gosh, I don't know if I want to go. I've done so many old heads. I don't know if I want to keep doing old heads. I probably shouldn't do old heads. Has Patrice Bergeron been taken?
No.
And has Pavel Datsyuk been taken?
No.
All right.
Damn.
Sign me up.
Okay, well, if those two are, especially Patrice Bergeron, I know he's officially. We said this guy's not on the table because he's not officially retired, but it's like he hasn't played the last 2 years, and we don't even know if he's going to come back. Is Jonathan Toews? Jonathan Toews. Can I pick Jonathan Toews? Is he on the table for this?
No, Jonathan Toews is not on the table. He's trying to play. You can't go into an article.
He's
within
not
the
retired.
Yeah, you can't go to do a news article a magazine article in the last 6 months and have been like, I'm trying to play hockey again.
Well,
I guess.
I think the conversation ends at we're doing retired players, right? Is Jonathan Toews retired?
Retired? No, he's not.
I feel like there are other
Scottish. That's it.
But there are other guys here who are no longer active or aren't playing, but they're not necessarily retired. I'm pretty sure.
Like who? Yager would be the only one.
Yeah.
And Yager's never going to play in the NHL again.
Well, we don't know. Like, we don't know for sure. Like he says he wants to come back. We don't know for sure if it's actually going to happen. It's all talk until it happens. Like the I don't know. Like Landeskog hasn't played since 2022.
Yeah, but you can't put Gabe Landeskog on your.
I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here. All right, fair enough. All right, okay, fine. All right, I'm just thinking Bergeron's so recent. I know he's retired, but he's more recent than Toews. I don't know.
Okay, so Lee picks Patrice Bergeron and Pavel Datsyuk.
Has Marian Hossa been taken?
Marian Hossa has not been taken.
Give me Marian Hossa. There we go. I have to have a Hawk on my team somehow.
Justin, you also had Maurice Richard earlier.
That's right.
Okay, Marian Hossa. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy amount of thunder.
I'm scared.
It's finally starting to lit up over here.
Guys, chat is coming up with some banger names for these. Good job.
I'm
chat.
not cheating. I'm not using chat. I don't want to cheat.
Yeah.
No, I know, but they're doing their own.
Okay.
well.
I'm gonna draft. Shoot. I'm gonna let you guys almost make those picks for me though.
I got a name. Hope you don't take him.
I'm gonna draft Alexander McGillney and Paul Correa.
Okay, when he McGillney was close. I'm around the same wavelength there for who I want.
Alexander.
Kind of
McGillney and Paul Correa.
All right. Give me Pavel Bure.
Good pick.
Yeah. Kind of goes along with McGillney there. I was thinking about him too. Yeah. It's a 90s Russians legend. Is he still not in the Hall of Fame, McGillney?
Nope.
That's shocking.
Not really when you think about how the Hall of Fame moves and operates.
In terms of, he should be in. Yeah.
All right, Lee, back to you.
Has Eric Lindros been taken?
I don't know how Eric Lindros hasn't been taken.
I'm going to take Eric Lindros.
Ooh, that's shocking.
And has Jacques Lemaire been taken?
No.
I'm going to take Jacques Lemaire. 8-time Stanley Cup winner. How do you do?
Fair enough. Actually, I don't think this guy's been taken. I feel like he always gets kind of underrated. Has Mark Recchi been taken?
Mark Recchi has not been taken.
Wow, that's crazy. Give me Mark Recchi.
All right, that is the last of your forward picks.
What do I need?
Oh shit! There's
you need a forward,
a goalie,
and a goalie. Justin needs a defenseman and a goalie, and I need one of each. Okay, I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Denny Potvin to round out my back end. And I'm going to pick. Should I pick another Denny? No. Oh, gosh. So many good players. You know what, though? Give me, give me Marty St. Louis.
Oh, that's a good one. I was thinking about him. There's another forward guy. I know I've exhausted my forward, so I can't take him. I don't know if he's been taken yet. It's just kind of shocking. But he was the guy I thought of right after I said Recchi. Now I'm pissed I didn't say him because I don't think he's been taken. But anyway, I think I have a defenseman, a goalie still.
Yeah, defense or whatever you want first, I guess.
I think he recently, well, not too recently passed away, but he was a really good two-way defenseman. Give me Mr. Salming, Maple Leafs legend.
That is a great pick. I had him on my list. All right, Lee, your last two.
Is Hank still on the board? Henrik Lundqvist?
Oh,
he is.
All right.
Damn it.
Then I think I'm just going to take Tony Esposito. Hasn't been taken, right?
You have two goalies, right?
Oh, I meant Phil No, I took Phil Esposito. Fuck, I have to find a forward still. I forgot I took Phil Esposito.
Pitter patter.
Has Brett Hull been taken?
Yes.
Oh, man. I'll take Ted Lindsay if he's still available.
What are you doing, dude?
Dude, it's my last pick. I'm just throwing,
Just throwing it all away.
I'm not. I'm very happy with my team.
Who is your pick?
Ted Lindsay.
Okay.
All right, so I just have
Why are you making it seem like he's not a Hall of Famer?
No, I'm just saying, dude.
It just seems a little disrespectful from you, but okay.
Okay. Justin, I need a goalie from you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of which ones. So Lundqvist's been taken, Bordeaux's been taken, Braw's been taken. Who else has been taken?
Hasek, who you took?
Hasek, yes. And then there's one more who's been taken then. Or
Chat, I have Brodeur.
Yeah. All right, so that's that last goaltender here.
Yager was taken first. Chat's yelling at us to take players we took in the first and second round.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah,
we don't need.
What are they doing? Yeah, I don't know. This is tough because I'm thinking there are legendary goalies have been taken, but there's some recency guys that could take. I'm thinking of some.
We both need a goalie, so just pick one.
All right, I'm in between Sawchuck and Plant. I don't think either have been taken.
That is not who I'm in between.
I know who you're taking.
Is he taking? Damn. Give me Terry Sawchuck, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't shrug your shoulders like that's not exactly who you're about to say right now.
I'm gonna take Carey Price.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him. Yeah.
And frankly, like I probably even should have just picked Roberto Luongo.
Yeah,
too.
I was thinking Luongo.
I was thinking of him
Luongo, Hank, and Price, but I'm like, people love Hank, and so that's gonna look good on my.
I thought about picking Fleury just because people love Fleury, but I'm like, why the hell? Fleury's not a top 6. Like, I know he's second in wins, but no.
All right. Yeah. So some notable players that were left off.
Is Dale Howardchuck taken?
Dale Howardchuck was not taken.
That was the guy I was thinking right after I said Recchi. I'm like, damn it, I should have taken Howardchuck. Oh, I'm pissed off at that.
Other forwards who weren't picked: Adam Oates, Brendan Shanahan, Patrick Marleau, Jeremy Roenick, Bobby Clark, Stan Mikita, Doug Gilmore, Luc Robitaille, John Beliveau. Probably should have picked him. Denny Savard, Dave Anderchuk, Theo Fleury, Pat Verbeek, Joe Pavelski, Pat LaFontaine probably should have gotten picked.
Taken Stan Mikita.
Phil Kessel.
Did they take Mikita?
No one took Mikita, dude.
Oh my God.
I can't believe I fucking.
Okay, chat's gonna make fun of us, but you have no idea how hard it is to do this.
Dude.
Like on the fly. Like
yeah. Also, like just not. Yeah. Like I can only prepare for so much shit.
Ryan Getzlaf, Shane Doan, Henrik Zetterberg, Danny Heatley are some other forwards. Defenseman Brad Park, Sergei Gonchar, Sergei Zubov, Rob Blake. Goalies Roberto Luongo, Ryan Miller, Grant Fuhrer, Curtis Joseph, Eddie Belfour. You know, those kinds of guys.
I think we did good. I think we did good.
I think we did good.
Yeah.
Should we go
All
through?
right, let's go through our teams. Yeah.
Okay, I will read mine off first. Wayne Gretzky, Steve Yzerman, Joe Sakic, Ron Francis, Jerome McGinley, Matt Sundin, Yari Curry, Henrik and Daniel Sedin, Alexander McGillney, Paul Correa, Marty St. Louis, Paul Coffey, Chris Chelios, Scott Niedermeyer, Al McInnes, Phil Housley, Denny Potvin, Patrick Waugh, Carey Price. Lee, that's your team if you want to read it.
Gordie Howe, Mark Messier, Mike Bossy, Peter Forsberg, Sergei Fedorov, Phil Esposito, Bobby Hull, Patrice Bergeron, Pavel Datsuk, Eric Lindros, Jacques Lemaire, Ted Lindsay, Bobby Orr defensively, Nick Lidstrom, Duncan Keith, Zdeno Chara, Doug Harvey, Eddie Shore, goalies Martin Brodeur, and Henrik Lundqvist. I love my team.
All right.
I love
my team is, I got my team. Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Timu Solani, Mike Badano, Brett Hall, Keith DeChuck, Maurice Richard, Guy Lafleur, Joe Thornton, Marian Hossa, Pavel Bure, Mark Recchi. Defense, Ray Bork, Scott Stevens, Chris Pronger, Brian Leach, Larry Robertson, Boris Salming. Goaltending, Dominic Hasek, Terry Sawchuck.
Yes. All right. Is that it? That's a wrap.
I hate to say it, I think I might have the weakest team here, but I'll still win because I got Seahawks. Yeah. I won't say anything this time.
The first comment is going to be, wow, Team 3 looks really good from Justin. It's going to be like,
I won't say anything, but like, obviously when I reshare the post, like it's going to be my team in the story. Like I'm not going to say it's my team, but like they'll be able to infer that's my team.
Fair enough.
Justin trying to avoid the cheating allegations.
Maybe,
3 weeks in.
No. Maybe you should.
Maybe third time's the charm.
No, maybe you should say that it's your team, and then we can really see if it's the Beehawks meme effect.
This is still a pretty good team though. Like obviously all these teams are going to be nasty because like they're just going to
the best players ever.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it? We ready to wrap?
Yeah, we're good.
Great show.
Okay. That is it for us today, but it's not also simultaneously. Reminder, we are live streaming the game tonight against the Colorado Avalanche. I assume maybe you two will do like an Instagram little pregame a few minutes before the game starts.
Yeah.
So come hang out for the live stream. Stick around for the post-game show after that. And thank you to Andy Francess for coming on with us. That was honestly one of the more fun conversations. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I knew that was gonna. I feel like we say that every single time we talk to somebody. We're like, man, that was really good, and it's because there are a lot of good people out there doing this. So,
we could do 10 hours with Andy Francess.
Yeah, that could be somebody that comes back on as much as they would like. His setup was super cool too. Just like really pro, decked out, like ready to go. He was like, give me 3 minutes to turn my video on, and he made it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Leave a 5-star rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And tell your friends about this show and to do all of those great things. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to Lee. Thank you to Raven. We'll be back for the podcast on Friday. Peace out.